Hyuga Iroha was annoyed by Hiyoshi's ridiculous remarks, and more sad about the branch house's past efforts. Ambition? Caged bird? He he he. Patriarch Hiyoshi, do you think our branch house fights for our own freedom just for the so-called ambition? The lofty clan will never understand our desire for freedom. Caged bird is not a tool for your clan to wantonly enslave us. The Zong family has misunderstood the perception of caged bird. Today is the time for Hyuga to re-understand caged bird. Hyuga Iroha looked at Hyuga Hiyoshi sarcastically. A few tears of nostalgia for the past overflowed in his eyes. He stretched out his hand to pull off the forehead protector, and shouted almost insanely. The two behind him also took off their forehead protectors, revealing the same smooth foreheads. How? How is it possible? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Caged bird, cracked by you. Hyuga Hiyoshi's complexion changed instantly, and he took a step back, with cold sweat running down his back, and exclaimed with a pale face. The Hiyoshi patriarch. Why do you think we dare to challenge the Zong family? Our branch house, after years of secret research, has mastered the method of disabling caged bird. It's just that Hyuga will not be nearly destroyed like Senju and Uchiha. We decided to take the approach of negotiation. However, this does not mean that we do not adopt armed revolution. Hyuga Iroha deceitfully and loudly. Ninja, the most basic lesson is to deceive and spread false information to achieve their own goals. Hyuga Iroha has long been familiar with this. In this way, it will not only bring greater oppression to the clan, but also win the support of the branch house members. It's not like those branch house members were coerced by the clan and besieged them. You guys have figured out how to unblock caged bird. The veins in Hyuga Hiyoshi's eyes faded and the white eyes closed, staring at Hyuga Iroha in horror, and said in fear. If this is the case, the Zong family is powerless to resist the branch house. The three branch house guards who rushed over after hearing the news saw the empty foreheads of the three of Hyuga Iroha and the words just now. Despite their doubts, they stepped back silently and stood beside Hyuga Iroha. The implication is self-evident. Who wants to be a dog if they have the opportunity to be a human being? It's still the kind that will never come out from generation to generation. Xiao, Ziya, Ming, are you going to betray the clan? Hyuga Hiyoshi stared at the three of them with resentful eyes, slowly forming a handprint in his hands, and questioned. Whoosh. The moment Hiyoshi's voice fell, Hyuga Iroha hit Hiyoshi with a backhand kunai, interrupting his spell. You can't use caged bird in front of us. Chief Hiyoshi, let me ask you one last time. Peace talks or fighting? Hyuga Iroha assumed an attacking stance, staring coldly at Hiyoshi and delivering an ultimatum. Although Hiyoshi is stronger than him, the three of them can still suppress each other in a siege. They can't let the Zong family use the curse of caged bird. Peace talks? Impossible. The hateful branch house has been secretly researching caged bird. How could this kind of thing be hidden for so long? You rebels, I will never allow you to subvert Hyuga. An old voice suddenly sounded from behind Hyuga Iroha. Dozens of figures also quickly surrounded them, occupying the entire courtyard. To shut up, you have been captured by us, why are you still clamoring here? Hyuga ironly controlled the elder of the clan, reprimanded unceremoniously. Hyuga Iron, also one of Hyuga Iroha's companions. The people who came were the other 10 branch house Jonin and the captive family, as well as many branch house members who came with them. You guys came prepared. Hyuga Hiyoshi looked at the 3 clan Jonin and the 2 clan elders who were bound, looked at Hyuga Iroha with gloomy eyes, and said coldly. Of course. Just now, almost all the people from the Zong family and the branch house are here. I will finally elaborate on our reform philosophy. We do not object to the existence of caged bird. This was originally the curse seal of the ancestors to prevent the eyes from leaking out and to protect the safety of the clansmen. But the Zong family has already misinterpreted the deep meaning of their ancestors. Caged bird. I don't know when it started, it became a tool for enslaving the branch house of the clan for generations. We are now going to reformulate a new branch house system. Don't talk about background, just talk about talent and strength. For clansmen without certain strength and talent, engraving the seal of caged bird is also a good thing for them. However, caged bird can no longer be a branch house hereditary existence. The heirs of the clan are not talented enough, but they also have to engrave caged bird and become a branch house. The offspring of the branch house may also become the main family due to their strength and talent. Under such circumstances, the Zong family would not rely on caged bird to wantonly enslave the branch house. And all the secret arts are open to the clansmen, as long as the clansmen who meet the learning conditions can learn it, regardless of the clan or branch house. If this continues, Hyuga will not only not weaken, but will become stronger and stronger. Hyuga Iroha briefly recounted the Naruto branch house system that Neji had said, after slightly changing it. The branch house members who were present heard the branch house system, and their eyes almost turned into red eyes. As a branch house, they do hate Caged Bird. But what he really hates is being trampled on at will by the clan and taking life and death. The branch house, which often goes out to perform tasks, also has a deep experience in the protection of Caged Bird. Shui Ji, who is so easy to open his eyes, would not dare to leave the village without Caged Bird. Otherwise, the Zong family wouldn't stay in the village and rarely leave the village. On the other hand, Hyuga Hiyashi frowned slightly when he heard the branch house system. He originally thought that the reform mentioned by the branch house was to directly abolish Caged Bird. But if this is the case, it may not be unacceptable. This system reminds Hyuga Hiyashi of his younger brother Hazashi and his gifted nephew Neji. If the Caged Bird at that time was like this, would their fate be rewritten? Brother Iroha, I support you. Iroha, you guys are really the heroes of my branch house. For my 2-year-old son, I will try my best to protect you this time. After so many years, the branch house is finally going to regain its freedom. I never expected to see this day in my lifetime, Iroha boy, this time I fully support you. Ha ha ha, my branch house also ushered in its own sky. Soka Hyuga Hikari, this time I want you to look good. Brother, don't be so excited. It's really waiting for this day for too long. Everyone in the branch house, after hearing Hyuga Iroha's remarks, each of them was filled with righteous indignation and began to express their opinions. Most people were excited to join the reform faction, while a few clamored to settle the past with the Zong family. Branch house, how much hatred is accumulated. If things go on like this, the Hyuga clan will probably cease to exist. Hyuga Hiyashi looked at those branch houses with crazy eyes and thought in horror. Chief Hiyashi, if you agree with this change, I can promise to let your 2 daughters become the clan. However, you are stepping down as patriarch. This is your last chance for peace talks. Hyuga Iroha saw the excitement around him, and he had the chance to win, so he directly started the final push. Hinata, Hanabi. Hearing this, Hyuga Hiyashi trembled violently and murmured subconsciously. As the head of the Hyuga clan, Hiyashi is well aware of his family's situation. If the change can be suppressed, then the wife and daughter will be safe and sound. However, if armed revolution occurs, the wife and daughter will definitely be liquidated. Before, Hiyashi perhaps had a little confidence, suppressing change. But at the current branch house, Hiyashi really doesn't have any confidence. Besides, Hinata's talent is not high. If there is no accident, he was planning to make Hinata a branch house. This kind of rule, he can't go beyond, but now. Okay. I agree to your request. Hyuga's new generation patriarch, Hyuga Iroha. After quickly weighing the pros and cons in his mind, Hyuga Hiyashi looked up at Hyuga Iroha, gritted his teeth and answered. Hiyashi, you clan scum. How can you agree to the rude request of the branch house? Old man, I will not agree. The clan elders who were clamoring just now stared at Hiyashi with tearing eyes, and shouted again without anger. I have endured you for a long time. Do you really think that we are a branch house and dare not kill the branch house to vent our anger? Hyuga Tai, who was standing behind the elder of the clan, snorted coldly, and slapped the elder of the clan on the head. In an instant, the inside of the head of the elder of the sect was crushed by chakra, and he fell to the ground and died. Everyone in the branch house at the scene burst into excited shouts again. The branch house kills the clan, but in front of the clan's head. This feeling is simply not too good. Hyuga Hiyashi and Hyuga Iroha both have a tacit understanding and did not make excuses. Killing at least one clan was originally the plan that Hyuga Iroha had made before. Only in this way can the clan be deterred and the branch house's self-confidence awakened. Hyuga Hiyashi is purely hating iron but not steel. The current situation is very clear. Either the entire Zong family will die, and the branch house will win miserably. Either the whole family will die, and the branch house will be slightly injured. Is this still an option? Chief Hiyashi, in order to show sincerity, please disclose the secrets of the clan, including Caged Bird. From now on, every clansman can practice all the secret arts of Hyuga as long as they meet the established requirements. Hyuga Iroha withdrew his attacking stance and turned to guard, and began to fight for the fruits of victory. Hiyashi is also a bachelor, anyway, he agreed to reform, and he broke the can and broke the road. It is good, so, Chief Hiyashi, you are still the chief of our Hyuga for the time being. I'm not the new generation patriarch of Hyuga either. When everything is on the right track, the new patriarch will come out to take over. Hyuga Iroha was overjoyed and announced loudly happily. In order to prevent accidents, Hyuga Iroha decided to wait for the branch house to truly control Hyuga before letting Neji show up. The new patriarch. Why aren't you? Hyuga Hiyashi was taken aback for a moment, looked at Hyuga Iroha in surprise, and said in shock. The other branch houses looked over with a blank face, as if they didn't agree with the person who didn't show up. Hyuga Iroha is the hero of their branch house. He is the genius of Hyuga who unraveled Caged Bird. He also proposed the new branch house system. I believe that he will lead us Hyuga to a brighter future. Hyuga Iroha waved his arms, clarified the deep meaning loudly, and began to build momentum for Neji. Hearing that it was the genius of Hyuga who unraveled Caged Bird, the members of the branch house let go of their prejudices and happily started discussing this genius. Without this uncaged bird, there would be no Hyuga transformation. There is really no problem for him to be the patriarch. Hiyashi is also relieved, as long as he is from the Hyuga clan. As for who? Don't you know in a few days? Naruto home tip. Change the fate trajectory of the Hyuga family and get 30,000 Honkai points. Naruto and Doraemon, who were watching the real-time live broadcast on the sightseeing phantom machine while sealing the space, heard this prompt sound in their ears at the same time. That's 30,000. Naruto, how did you do it? Do you know the future of this world? Doraemon touched his big head, fixed his eyes on Naruto and said firmly. After these few crash points, Doraemon has long been suspicious. That's right, I know something about the future of this world. So Doraemon, I'll get you out soon. Naruto didn't hide anything, and confessed openly. This plot advantage is simply a joke in front of Doraemon's props. Next day training ground 3, morning, everyone. Naruto took a figure of 8 step, stroked his stomach, and came to the three of them leisurely to say hello. Too slow, Naruto. Little Sakura looked at the time and subconsciously yelled without anger. Well, I forgot that Mr. Kakashi has become very punctual now. Be there on time next time. Naruto glanced at Kakashi, who was absent-minded, and said in a daily manner. But in the next second, Naruto's eyes were unconsciously attracted by Sako's figure. Today's Seiko actually wore a navel-bearing outfit similar to that of the big Ino later. The clothes on her upper body clearly showed that she was mature at this age, which shouldn't exist. It's just the legs, instead of wearing the kind of grid black silk commonly used by ninjas, they are wrapped in bandages. The only flaw is that the color of the clothes is blue and black, and it is less youthful. However, this also gave her a taste of asceticism. Well, there is also the Uchiha clan emblem on the clothes. I don't know if Seiko sewed it on overnight. This guy has worked hard for strength. Or, give her some sweetness. Let's see what else she can do. Naruto looked at Seiko who was wandering in the sky, and thought badly in his heart. On Zuazi's side, he also looked depressed and suspicious of life at this time. Didn't you say that there is a reward for changing? She is like this. Why is there no reward? Is it still too conservative? Zuozi thought of the clothes recommended to her every day yesterday, and a trace of shame and anxiety appeared on his face. Or, try tomorrow. Naruto, what are you doing? Why do you keep looking at Seiko secretly? I'm going crazy. Aside from the boy god turning into a girl, do you still want to snatch away my admirer? No, I don't want to. Little Sakura stared at Naruto and Seiko with fiery eyes, and said with dissatisfaction in her heart. Ahem. Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura, this is your reward for this mission. Let me talk about the tasks of the past few days. Today I went to Yoshinoya's medicine field to pull weeds, tomorrow I went to clean up river garbage, and the day after tomorrow I went to take care of the Yamada family's children. Let's go now. Kakashi, who was out of his mind, took out 3 rewards and handed them over to the 3, lazily announcing the mission. Now Kakashi, because of Lin's confession, is still thinking about his future, and has no intention of leaving the village to perform tasks. He didn't rush to find Naruto to tell all this. Namikaze Minado's speculation made Kakashi a little hesitant about changing the past. What? What kind of tasks are these? Teacher Kakashi, why is this happening? Shouldn't we be performing more exciting and dangerous missions out of the village? Little Sakura finally found a vent, and shouted dissatisfied. Although Zuozi didn't shout anything, the slightly twitched eyebrows still revealed her displeasure. Only Naruto is happily counting the rewards for this mission. Tisk tisk. Ninja Village is divided among the 4 people, and there are still 10,000 taels, which is quite a lot. After all, for a C-level task, the maximum reward is 100,000 taels. For the price of Konoha, take the Ichiraku ramen that I loved before as a reference. A bowl of ramen costs between 60 taels and 90 taels, which is enough to buy more than 100 bowls of ramen. In a few days, I earned a month or 2 of food expenses. Good. Naruto pondered in his mind, looking at the banknotes with relish. With cheat and cage level strength, Naruto is easy to get money. After all, the ninja world is not the past life, and money is not everything. Anything that is too easy to get loses its added pleasure. Naruto is enjoying this feeling very much now. Ahem. Little Sakura, this is to exercise your sense of teamwork. I will also pass on to you some techniques of using chakra. Anyway, that's it for a few days. Set off. Kakashi responded vaguely with an ominous word, and took the lead to walk to Yoshinoya's medicine field. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter. After completing the task, I went to Mr. Guy and they trained. After opening Sharingan, I can already copy their physical skills. Zuozi thought to himself, following behind very unladylike. Goddess Road, you still have to practice a lot. Naruto looked at Sako's awkward walking posture, the corners of his eyes twitched twice, and he sighed helplessly in his heart. Naruto, let's go too. Lil Sakura opened her big light blue eyes, looked back at Naruto with a smile, and shouted playfully. Hateful, I will not lose to this bad woman Seiko. Okay little Sakura. Naruto looked at little Sakura meaningfully, until little Sakura blushed a little, then smiled lightly, and walked away slowly. Fish, are you hooked? No, it should be caused by emotions such as unwillingness and jealousy. Sure enough, licking a dog is not a Poseidon. Poseidon only belongs to male gods. Naruto, what is that look? Did he see my heart? The little Sakura stared at Naruto's back, with shyness in her eyes, and staggered quickly to keep up. At the same time Hyuga Neji also followed Hyuga Tokuma and returned to the Hyuga tribe. After a night of negotiation, a new Hyuga has blossomed. In Neji's eyes, every branch house member has his own hope. It is no longer the tool that was muddled before. Except for the Hiyashi family, all the main families have been engraved with caged bird. All Hyuga children, no longer 3 years old, are forced to engrave caged bird. Instead, based on talent and strength, when Genin graduated, he decided to become a branch house or clan. Neji also knew Hyuga Iroha's considerations, and the fact that he was going to be the new head of the clan. Hyuga clan land, Neji, you're here. Hiyashi sat half kneeling in front of the tatami, sighing in a slightly gentle voice. Master Patriarch, what do you want me to do? Neji's current identity hasn't been announced yet, so he still said bluntly as before. This time Hiyashi's compromise made Neji have a little different view of him. Otherwise, Neji, who untied caged bird, might not have come here. Neji, you'd better call me uncle. In the past, I had to maintain the identity of the patriarch in the clan, so I may have been a little indifferent to you. Shortly thereafter, I will step down as patriarch. The current branch house and clan do not have to maintain their respective interests as before. Neji, you don't have to take on the task of protecting Hinata from now on. I always knew that your talent is the strongest in this generation of Hyuga. These are all the secret arts of the clan, as well as the scrolls left by your father. I'm not trying to win you over, I'm just doing something I wanted to do a long time ago. You can go now. Hiyashi took out 2 scrolls, one large and one small, put them in front of Neji and said frankly. Father, Neji's pupils shrank, he picked up the small scroll with trembling hands, and opened it excitedly. Next to the Yoshinoya medicine field, Akamaru, what's wrong with you? When Inuzuka Fang, who was working hard, was about to complete the task in one go. Akamaru, who was playing next to him, suddenly seemed to be frightened, and quickly rushed into his arms, trembling. What? Hong, your team is here too. What a coincidence, we also received the task of weeding. Kakashi saw the 4 people in the medicine field next to him, and greeted them with a smile. Kakashi, I didn't expect your class to do such low-level tasks. What a surprise. Kurenai Yuhi responded with a smile, and unconsciously looked at Naruto behind Kakashi. The last 4 tales Naruto made Yuhi Hong very impressed with Naruto. These days, she has strengthened her training. It turns out that this guy is here, no wonder Akamaru is like this. Inuzuka Ya glanced at Naruto dodgingly, subconsciously took 2 steps back, and whispered fearfully. The 4 tales Naruto at the time scared him a lot. Thinking back to the scene where he often yelled in front of Naruto before, Inuzuka Fang wanted to slap himself twice. That is really a crazy temptation on the verge of death. If Naruto couldn't bear it once, he would have bid farewell to this beautiful world. Naruto. Hinata, who was standing behind Kuroko Yuhi, blushed instantly, with pure white eyes, she sneakily glanced at Naruto. Now, Naruto-kun is more handsome without the beard. Hinata blushed and thought to herself, the blush on her face was even stronger, her little head was lowered, almost stuffed into her clothes. Because of Naruto's instructions, the Hyuga change last night did not have any influence or restriction on Hinata. This is also the reason why Hinata can come out to perform tasks normally. That's my official wife, the hidden Miss Hinata. Still cute when I was young. Hinata's eldest wife during the Boruto biography period has already become a bit Sakura. Is this the true portrayal of a cute little girl before marriage and a tigress after marriage? It's decided. Boruto, brat, I don't want it for now. Naruto stared at Hinata with bright eyes, slandered a few words in his heart, and took the initiative to come forward to Hinata. Hinata. Why is your face so red? Do you have a cold? A smirk flashed in Naruto's eyes, and he stretched out his hand to press Hinata's forehead knowingly, pretending to be worried. Naruto-kun, touched my head. Hinata, who was so shy to ultimate, thought of this intimate fact, her eyes were dizzy, and she passed out directly. Hinata. Hong-sensei, Hinata may be sick. Let's take her to the doctor. Naruto had already prepared for this, picked up Hinata in his arms, yelled at Kurenai Yuhi, ignored the other stunned people, turned around and left. Kakashi, I'll leave it to you here. Yuhi Hong is also worried about Hinata's safety, plus Naruto is a boy, it is somewhat inconvenient to take care of Hinata. Say please Kakashi, follow Naruto's back and chase after him. Kakashi. Call, it's good that the evil star is gone. Akamaru, you can come down now. Inuzuka Tooth patted the trembling Akamaru lightly, panting in a low voice. Hateful, that guy Naruto. The little Sakura reacted belatedly, and shouted without anger. Well, now that they're gone. Then you start the task, and you have to finish the weeding task before dark. Hurry up. Kakashi leaned casually under a tree on one side, lazily reminded. Little Sakura, Seiko. On the 8th side, 1/3 of the progress has been completed. Naruto sighed halfway through, Hinata actually woke up. But when she found herself in Naruto's arms, her head became hot and she passed out again. Naruto is already well aware of this. Without this reason, how could we attract the beautiful woman Yuha Hong? With Hinata's liking for Naruto, as long as Naruto takes the initiative, he will definitely have a girlfriend every minute. However, Naruto, who is determined to collect popular female supporting roles, is so stupid as to put a bondage on himself. There is nothing wrong with the patient, just a brief fainting caused by emotional agitation. It'll be fine when she wakes up naturally. After examining Hinata's body, the doctor finally came to a conclusion. Naruto, I really trouble you this time. As long as I take care of it here, you can go back and continue the mission. Yuhi Hong stepped forward to adjust Hinata's sleeping position, raised her distinctive red eyes to look at Naruto, and smiled softly. It's okay, Teacher Hong. I'll go back with you later. Teacher Hong, may I take the liberty to ask, do you have a boyfriend? Naruto smiled brightly, cheekily rejected Kurenai Yuhi's tenderness, and launched his own offensive. Why do you ask such a question? Yuhi's red face turned red with a brush, and said in embarrassment. This brat, wouldn't it be? Thinking of that scene, Shiha Hong couldn't help opening her pupils slightly, and she was even more ashamed and angry, she was not a casual woman. I'm just curious. I think an outstanding beautiful teacher like Teacher Hong would choose who to be her lover. Naruto pretended to be curious and said to 8 trigrams, taking the opportunity to test whether Kurenai Yuhi has started a relationship with Asuma now. In the original plot, the emotional line between the two has always been blurred. There has been an intersection since childhood, and it seems that they have been talking for a long time. Then there was the unmarried first pregnancy during the Shippuden period, and finally remained unmarried for life. This also indirectly shows Yuhi Hong's character, which is the kind of strong woman who dresses boldly, has an unrestrained personality but tends to be conservative. Such a woman has to be taken slowly. This is not a joke, you can take down the female teacher casually. That's not a joke. Well, I haven't. No, that's not the question you should be asking. Naruto, you can go. After hearing that Naruto was not what she thought, Yuhi Hong secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and said in a panic. Damn. How can I say that? Isn't this self-inflicted? Shiha Hong thought secretly, pretending to be angry to cover up her embarrassment. Ha ha, teacher, has anyone told you that you were really cute? I love so much. Naruto, who already knew the inside story, stepped forward to make fun of Yuhi Hong's ear, and quickly ran away. That warm instant breath made Shiha Hong froze in place. The little devil, say I'm cute? Like me? Yuhi Hong's eyes widened, staring at the place where Naruto disappeared, a blush rose on his face, and he murmured angrily. Hey, just flirt and run, leave a deep impression first, and it will be fine for the time being. As for Asuma, next time you see it, act first. After Naruto ran out of the hospital, he happily murmured a few words to himself, and quickly left. Afternoon when Yuhihong brought the blushing Hinata to the medicine field aggressively. The 7th class has completed the task and disbanded. Iba, Shino. Why did they complete the task so quickly? Yu Hahong looked at the 2 panting disciples and asked with a straight face. She also planned to teach Naruto a lesson when she came over. Teacher Hong. You don't know how annoying Naruto's pervert is. He directly distributed hundreds of shadow clone and completed the weeding task in less than half an hour. And then, that's it. Inuzuka Ya looked at the neat medicine field and said sourly without anger. Only then did Yuhihong remember the horror of 4 Tails Naruto before, and froze in place in fear. It seems that she can't beat him even if she wants to teach him a lesson. Naruto-kun. Hinata beside Yuhihong looked at the medicine field next door in despair, grabbed the hem of his clothes with both hands, and whispered like a mosquito. When the 8th class was thinking about each other. At this time, Naruto is studying ninjutsu in the Forest of Death. Hey. I'm not stupid, should I stay to reduce my impression points? Let it dry first. Now that there are such cost-effective things, it must be a wave of Krypton gold. How could Naruto not know how to make balls? Naruto held a bottle of purple spray in his hand, sprayed it on his brain a few times, and laughed. This thing is called Ability Enhancement Potion, and its function is to strengthen the attributes of the sprayed place. The effect starts at 10 times and can be superimposed. Whether it's the body and brain, or clothes, shoes and socks, it can be said that spraying is strong. What? If this is sprayed somewhere, Naruto is confident that it can penetrate. Cough cough. Mistake. If you spray it on Kamui eyes, distinguished heavenly gods, 9 tails, the effect is unimaginable. Only need 3,000 points a bottle, it is a conscience product. The only drawback is that one spray only lasts for 5 minutes, and one bottle can only spray about 40 times. Well, the current Naruto still has 37,580 crash points left. This thing is really powerful. A scumbag like me can clearly recall the ninjutsu teaching courses I learned before. The understanding and development of ninjutsu is just like hacking. The brain is directly upgraded from a functional machine to the level of a flagship smartphone. So, here we go. Multiple shadow clone technique. After Naruto felt excited about himself, he clapped his hands together and shouted loudly. Bang bang bang, white smoke drifted past, and 5 shadow clone appeared around Naruto. As soon as these shadow clones appeared, they each started researching one attribute, Rasengan. And Naruto himself is beginning to realize the ultimate power of Sharingan, Susanoo. This is the ultimate pupil technique hosted by Mangekyo, but I don't know if Naruto's Mangekyo was copied. Except for Kamui and distinguished heavenly god's pupil technique, he has not awakened the power of this god. All of a sudden, the sound of explosions inside the forest continued. Chakra of various attributes, dancing around. There is also a terrifying oppression, appearing and disappearing from time to time. The fierce beasts and poisonous insects in the Forest of Death have begun to re-understand the trembling days. Under the blue sky, beside the mountains and rivers, under the shade of green trees that block out the sun. Ridges of sunlight, Madara spots, staggered on the wet land through the gaps in the luxuriant foliage. Seiko arrived at point B. Seiko hid beside a big tree. Through the gaps in the branches, the Scarlet 2 Tomo Sharingan looked directly at the target in front and whispered softly. It's just that this posture, combined with that outfit, really makes people think a lot. Well, Seiko today is wearing a blue dress similar to Little Sakura. Little Sakura reached point Circa. The little Sakura cat stood sideways behind the big tree, shouting nervously into the headset. Naruto, we've arrived at point A. Naruto came to a bush carelessly, opened his eyes and stared at the target, and said lazily. Too slow, Naruto. The 7th group, the target has started to move, hurry up. Kakashi's voice came through the headset, giving the order. The 3 moved their bodies quickly and approached the target at the same time. Of course, Naruto also closed his eyes ahead of time. Very good, let's do it. Kakashi, who was watching secretly, had a stern look in his eyes, and ordered in a solemn voice. Chakra under the feet of the 3 erupted at the same time, and rushed towards the target quickly. Meow. With the sound of howls of sad hearers and listeners weeping, Naruto grabbed the task target in one go. I said, aren't we a little too serious, isn't it just a kitten? Naruto held the cat in one hand, squinted at little Sakura and Seiko, and sighed helplessly. Naruto, who knew the cat was dishonest, gave off a little 9 tails chakra in his hand. This arrogant cat is trembling in Naruto's hands like a ghost. There is a red ribbon on the right ear, are you sure it is the target tiger? Kakashi's voice sounded again in the headsets of the 3. Confirmation is the mission goal. Seiko looked down at the cat in Naruto's hand, and confirmed with black lines all over his head. Very good, the task of capturing the lost pet tiger is completed. Come out to assemble, go back and submit the task. Kakashi concluded as he stood on the edge of the woods satisfied. Ms. Kakashi, isn't there any exciting task? We've been doing low-level tasks for days. Little Sakura's dissatisfied voice was transmitted to Kakashi's ears through the headset, almost making his ears ring. Little Sakura, is this stealing my lines? In other words, it should be the mission of the Kingdom of Waves later. Bye. Let me see, are you a man or a woman? Naruto stared thoughtfully at the angry little Sakura, thinking to himself. Seiko on the side is no stranger to this. Hokage office. After submitting the task and seeing that terrifying princely wife, everyone gave an understanding look to the cat Xiaohu, who often ran away from home to increase income for Konoha. Let me see, so, the next mission for Team Kakashi's 7th squad. Well, it's a C-level mission to protect the bridge builder. Come out. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the document in his hand, raised his eyebrows, and after an unhurried introduction, he turned his head and shouted to the next room. After the last C-level mission, Sarutobi Hiruzen is relieved of the actions of Kakashi's class. Yeah, finally, it is no longer such a boring low-level task. Good job, old man. Hiding under the image of a good girl, little Sakura shouted excitedly. Seiko was on the side, under the seemingly calm appearance, he was actually eager to try. What the hell, why are they all some imp ninjas? Especially the shortest guy, who looks the dumbest, can this also be a ninja? Disoner, who was carrying a bottle of wine, reached out to help his glasses that were about to fall, and complained drunkenly. Among the three, only Naruto is half a head lower than Seiko and Sakura due to long-term malnutrition. The illusion in this is self-evident, this client. As the lead Jonin this time, I must remind you. The shortest and stupidest guy in your mouth is the most powerful ninja among us. If you offend him, maybe even I can't protect you. Kakashi was rarely serious, staring at Dasna coldly with indifferent eyes and warned. Kakashi doesn't want to, because of some misunderstanding. Gouda. Dasna swallowed subconsciously, his eyes surrendered to Naruto with playful eyes, and his heart skipped a beat. He lied about the mission this time, and the stronger the ninja guardian, the safer he is. Dasna still knows this fact. Ha ha ha, sorry, I'm a little drunk. Then my safety, please everyone. Daisina found the steps for himself cheekily, and laughed loudly. Ahem. Kakashi, then this task is entrusted to you. Seeing the harmony between the two parties, Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed lightly and said please. Kakashi turned pervert in an instant, nodded with a relaxed face, and beckoned them to leave. Now go back and pack your things, and gather at the gate of Konoha in 10 minutes. Mr. Darsner, you can go over now and wait. Scatter. Walking out of Hokage's office, Kakashi gave instructions to several people, and his figure disappeared instantly. Well, then I'm leaving too. Naruto waved his back to Sakura, and also activated the body flicker technique to leave quickly. That brat. It really is a scary guy. Dasna stared at the place where Naruto left in an instant, cold sweat broke out from behind, and he said in horror. Seiko and little Sakura looked at each other, followed closely behind, and Chakra quickly jumped away. More than half an hour later 2 figures, 3 figures, and 5 figures walked slowly on the flat dirt road outside Konoha village. Because he had been to the country of the river to perform missions before, little Sakura didn't ask about the common sense of the ninja world. These have long been known during the last trip. But also because of this, the attitudes of little Sakura and Seiko are more relaxed and freehand. In their view, this is another opportunity to travel out of the village with pay. Naruto, in the woods ahead of you, there are 2 people secretly watching you. Be careful. Doraemon's voice suddenly rang in Naruto's ear, causing him to pause slightly. The sightseeing phantom machine at 10 a.m. has now become a common prop for Doraemon. The 2 rookies who won't be beheaded again. As soon as Naruto thought, he thought of the 2 mist shinobi who were instantly killed by Kakashi. Got it. Thanks for reminding me. Doraemon, how much is the cheapest means of transportation in your place? Walking like this is too slow. Naruto thanked Doraemon in the sealed space calmly, and asked casually. Wave Country is not too far from Konoha village. It was only because of the existence of Dasna that they had to walk there. This, one way at least 10 days and a half months. The cheapest means of transportation? Then there is only one-time bamboo dragonfly. It only costs 20 o'clock, the top speed is 80 mk, and the battery life is 8 hours. Doraemon's voice rang in Naruto's ear again, which surprised Naruto. Unexpectedly, the bamboo dragonfly that appeared the most in the original plot was so cheap. In the world of Hokage, the gap between flying and non-flying ninjas is like a chasm. It can be said that as long as you can fly, you will be at least a few blocks ahead of your peers in the ninja world. Doraemon, rent 5 bamboo dragonflies for me. Naruto, who is rich and powerful, doesn't care about the 100 crash points at all, and shouted to the sealed space. Experience flying, this is the dream of many people. At the same time, Naruto also stopped, pretending to take something from the backpack. Naruto, why did you stop? Could it be that you are hungry? The little Sakura next to Naruto also stopped, her beautiful emerald green eyes stared at Naruto curiously and said with concern. During this period of time, little Sakura has adapted to the existence of Seiko, and the relationship between the two has eased a little. Although it's still not at the level of best friends, it can be regarded as an ordinary teammate relationship. Little Sakura's attention now shifted to Naruto. Well, it's just not as obvious as it was when I liked Sasuke. When Kakashi and the others heard this, they also stopped, and turned their heads to look at Naruto for some unknown reason. I have a few rushing flying props here, which can allow us to reach our destination quickly. Walking like this is too slow. Naruto reached out and took out 5 bamboo dragonflies from his backpack, and explained pretending to be unhappy. Props? Little Sakura, Seiko, and Kakashi shouted in surprise at the same time. Dasna on the side didn't know anything about these things, he was looking around absent-mindedly, worried about possible attacks. Well, like this. Naruto didn't play tricks either, he took out one and pressed it on his head to turn on the switch. Then, as the bamboo dragonfly began to turn, Naruto's body floated out of thin air, and flew into the air tens of meters in an instant. Fly up. The ignorant Dasna fell to the ground with a plop, pointing at Naruto in horror and shouting tremblingly. Naruto, so handsome. Little Sakura looked at Naruto flying up into the sky, whispering to herself with little stars in her eyes. This guy. Seiko also looked at Naruto in the sky with surprise on his face, and his eyes were complicated and unwilling. Thinking of this, Seiko was very angry. She thinks she dresses very femininely, but she still doesn't get any rewards. Fortunately, the special physical training these days allowed Seiko to enjoy the benefits of quick recovery. This gave her a little motivation, let her know that the goddess system is not a virtual imagination. Naruto, you really are not a simple existence. Maybe we should talk about it. Kakashi fixed his eyes on Naruto, who was descending rapidly, and thought deeply. Well, one by one. Put it on the head, press the switch, and control the flight at will through the mind. Naruto flew in front of several people, and threw a bamboo dragonfly to each of them. Mind control? No need for chakra? This is too cool. Little Sakura was the first to react, and with a cry of surprise, she pressed the bamboo dragonfly on her head to turn on the switch. Then, her figure quickly rose, and she jumped to a height of 100 meters in the blink of an eye. I was so scared that tears flowed horizontally, and my consciousness instantly panicked, flying more and more chaotic. Don't try to fly fast, but get used to it slowly. As long as the mentality is stable, it will be mastered soon. I'll go see little Sakura first, try it yourself. Naruto saw the little Sakura flying wildly in the sky, explained it quickly, and with a thought, he flew into the sky at high speed. Is your mind stable? A flash of understanding flashed in Kakashi's eyes. He muttered to himself, put on the bamboo dragonfly and pressed the switch. In the next moment, Kakashi's figure slowly lifted into the air, and soon stabilized, suspended at a height of 5 meters. Sako's eyes lit up when he saw this, and he followed Kakashi's movements and began to operate. Seiko, who knows the skills, quickly adapted to the flying of the bamboo dragonfly. With the help of Kakashi, Dasna also comprehended the profound meaning of bamboo dragonfly after some attempts. Happily began to enjoy this, the happiness that ordinary people can't feel in a lifetime. With the help of Naruto, the little Sakura in the sky finally mastered the knack of flying after stumbling and adjusting her mentality several times. It's just that little Sakura's cheeks are bright red at this moment. Just now, it was really embarrassing. After a while. Brother, have you ever seen a target flying away from the sky? One of the ghost brothers hiding in the woods stared dumbfounded at the 5 figures passing quickly in the sky, and said in horror. Let's go back and report to Lord Zabuzon. That guy Kaduo, the information is seriously unequal. The elder brother of the ghost brothers looked at the 5 flying away with gloomy eyes, and shouted in a low voice. A ninja who can lead people to fly is not a simple character. Then let you go first. I also want to know what the ghost man will do if he doesn't kill him again. Naruto flew above the sky, the white eyes in his pupils flashed away, and the corners of his mouth raised and continued to fly forward. Wave country above the blue sky and white clouds covered by mist. Wow, this is the sea. What a beautiful view, it was the first time I saw the sea. Little Sakura flew beside Naruto, looking at the endless sea, and shouted excitedly with her arms crossed. The land of waves is below, we are ready to descend. Naruto, your flying props are really convenient. Kakashi looked down at the wave country island below, and lazily reminded several people. It's almost time. In another 10 minutes or so, the bamboo dragonfly will fail. Let's hurry down. Naruto has been asking Doraemon to help calculate the time, and after asking for a while, he agreed with Kakashi's reminder aloud. Because they flew back, Brother Guei and Zabujan had not met each other, so they returned to Dazna's house safely. On the way, Kakashi and the others didn't know this, and they couldn't talk about Dazna's moral kidnapping. Grandpa, you are finally back. As soon as they arrived at Dazna's house, his grandson Inari ran out and threw himself into Dazna's arms and shouted. Father, welcome back. These are Konoha Ninja-samas, thank you very much for protecting my father back home. Dazna's daughter also stood aside and spoke politely to them. Today, everyone, let's rest and get familiar with the environment. Starting tomorrow, please keep me safe. When Dazna returned home, his spirit changed instantly, and he spoke enthusiastically and politely. The sea-level task he issued was to protect his safety before the bridge was repaired. So saying this, it did not arouse the refutation of Kakashi and others. Under Dazna's arrangement, several people quickly came to their respective rooms and put down their luggage. The Hokage world seems to be good at this point. Each household has many houses, and there is no fear of not being able to live in them. Naruto didn't pay attention to that brat Inari either. He is not the predecessor, the Holy Mother is full of heart to enlighten others. After a sumptuous feast, Kakashi invited several people to the nearby woods. Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura. This mission is a small long-term mission. It just so happens that I also have time, and I will take this opportunity to help you guide your cultivation. Because your respective strengths are different, so my guidance plan is also different. But the most basic chakra control is a skill that needs to be learned first. Then, start the real special training. Kakashi looked at the three of them seriously, and for the first time began to perform his duties as a teacher. Kakashi, this guy is a little weird today. Naruto looked at Kakashi, who was talking eloquently with a strange expression, and thought in doubt. Now, there has not been a surprise attack plot that will not be cut again. I don't need this, I have already completed this practice. After Kakashi walked up a big tree like walking on the ground, Naruto also walked up another tree and stood sideways, said calmly. He used the ability enhancing potion last time clearly. Not only completed water-style Rasengan, wind-style Rasengan, wind-style Rasengan Shuriken, fire-style Hao-Yan Rasengan. Also completed the secondary development of Chidori, Chidori Stream, Chidori Chiban, Chidori Blade, Chidori Sharp Gun. Except for water-style Rasengan, the rest of these are the traceable development directions in the original plot, which also allowed Naruto to quickly develop them. The incidental chakra control is of course not worth mentioning. The only pity is that Susanoo only made the first form. Still a hybrid. Naruto, this is too handsome. Damn it, Naruto. Little Sakura and Seiko gave a low drink with different emotions, staring at Naruto who was hanging in the air with fiery eyes. So, little Sakura, Seiko, you guys start this training. Me and Naruto went there for special training. A flash of affirmation flashed in Kakashi's eyes, and he told Sakura and Naruto to leave with him. With perfect control over Naruto of Nine Tails chakra, Kakashi is no surprise. The two of them, Sakura, looked at each other, and each started training without admitting defeat. Zuozi even opened 2 Tomo Sharingan directly to assist her in her cultivation. After Naruto followed Kakashi to a place not far away, Kakashi opened the Mangekyo Sharingan violently. After scanning the surroundings with powerful insight, the pupil power was activated, instantly pulling Naruto into his illusion space. When Kakashi opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, Naruto guessed that Kakashi had something to say, so he didn't resist. Naruto, do you remember what happened last time? Since the last time I got home, Kakashi in the illusion space looked a little more relaxed, and briefly narrated what happened after returning home. Also talked about Namikaze Minado's speculation and Lin's appearance. He didn't say anything about his personal affairs with Lin. Naruto, can the past really be changed? But changing the influence of the past will also make the world unrecognizable, right? Kakashi finally asked about his concerns, and said excitedly with a disturbed expression. Sure enough, Lin is not dead. Let me just say, how could the reward of 5,000 points just change the time of death? Now some play. 99% of the masked man is still Obito, and all 3 of the Minato class are alive. I wonder if Obito will want to create a world with Lin when he sees Lin. Naruto understood, and looked forward to Obito and Lin even more. Next time, I will take you back to the past. This change will not affect our current world. Naruto gave Kakashi a shot in the arm so he wouldn't be so uneasy. Naruto still has 37,350 crash points. When the Chunin exam is over, he should get 100,000 crash points anyway, and use the phone booth. At that time, this world will not be affected by the past and the future. 3 days later, Naruto and Seiko came to this tree to practice Lin Shu as usual. Kakashi and Sakura Jr., protecting Datsuna on the bridge. This is the squad plan that Kakashi made. Since Naruto communicated with Kakashi last time, Kakashi seemed to be a different person, with a different spirit. He is also very concerned about the education of Seiko and Sakura. Chidori has now been taught to Seiko in advance. Naruto has nothing to teach. Instead, Kakashi saw Chidori's derivative moves after sparring with Naruto. Being prostituted by him with Sharingan. Let Naruto roll his eyes straight at that time. However, before Naruto, he also used the ability to copy gloves, and used Kakashi's ninjutsu and Sharingan for nothing. The mentality is also a lot more balanced. This also made Kakashi firmly believe that Naruto is the future Naruto, or Naruto who has obtained future ninja tools and strength. Then, I felt relieved to hand over the task of Seiko practicing Chidori to Naruto. Naruto. Why is my Chidori only half as destructive as yours? Sako's face may have turned slightly red due to strenuous exercise, and his body reacted accordingly with his rapid breathing. The Scarlet Sharingan looked at the two tree holes, one large and one small, in front of him, panting. This is because your lightning attribute, nature transformation, still needs to be improved. Chidori is a lightning-style esoteric art that combines chakra nature transformation and form change, not an ordinary escapism. Naruto leaned lazily on the tree and said casually, his eyes were very real on Seiko. Today's Seiko didn't know what he was thinking, but he actually wore a pair of black silk. Coupled with the current real-time picture, this scene made Naruto almost collapse. Although Seiko is now outstanding in appearance and his figure is even more arrogant than his peers, Naruto knows that this guy is a confident and arrogant man in his heart. This is embarrassing. Looks like I have to give Seiko a reward. As far as the level of welfare is concerned, it would be too deceitful to say nothing. Naruto looked away with great difficulty honestly, thinking secretly. Whoosh whoosh. A dozen or so piercing sounds suddenly sounded from a distance, and a dozen or so Chianbin quickly attacked Zuozi. Seiko, who had just activated Chidori, was now in a stiff and powerless state, and had no strength to dodge at all. Hateful, the training was so hard that the chakra was almost used up. Sako's Sharingan clearly captured those Chianbin, thinking unwillingly. At the critical moment, Zuozi only felt his body lighten, and his whole body flew into the air, leaving his position in an instant. You guys are the rebels of Mist Shinobi. Naruto hugged Seiko by the waist, stared at the three people who came out with cold eyes, and said firmly. Oops. Quite winking, Konoha brat. Today, let us Ghost Brothers come and send you little lovers to hell together. One of the Ghost Brothers who came out looked at Naruto and Seiko, who was hugged by the princess playfully, and yelled sinisterly. Naruto, put me down quickly. I'm going to kill him. Zuozi was also awakened by these words. Her pretty face turned cold for an instant, and she sternly shouted. She thinks she is an out-and-out man, even if she sells her personality for the sake of strength and acts like a girl. But it doesn't mean she likes men. This man is still Naruto. Naruto also simply put Seiko next to the big tree, and fixed his eyes on one of them. Being done by, has it appeared? Damn it, it's time to give up that so-called goddess system. This kind of me really hates. After Zuozi stabilized his body, he cursed secretly in his heart, and decided to return to his male attire when he went back today. Even if it's a girl's body, it doesn't matter. At least she can relax mentally. Stop talking nonsense. Superior. The other member of the Ghost Brother gave a low drink, and threw out a few thousand roots of kunai, and his hands quickly formed a seal. Water-style Mist Shinobi technique. A deep voice sounded, and the vision of Naruto and Seiko was instantly blocked by dense fog. Little Konoha, let me show you the silent assassination technique that doesn't kill you. The Ghost Brother's voice resounded through the thick fog. This is Zabuzon, a specially formulated action plan for the success of this raid. Ghost Brothers, these two tricks, dare to be so presumptuous now. Still look high and don't cut it. Didn't ask for foreign aid at all. Use the Mist Shinobi technique on blindfold and Sharingan, and you're sure you're not asking for death. Naruto stared at the thick white mist, with a smirk on the corner of his mouth, and said silently. In the next instant, Naruto's eyes switched to white eyes. The Ghost Brothers hiding in the dark, and the ice escape ninja Bai. In an instant, the original shape is revealed. The other side on the bridge under construction. The originally clearly visible bridge has been obscured by thick white fog. Mr. Darsner, do you have something to hide from us? Sea-level missions, there will be no enemy ninjas. Kakashi stood in front of little Sakura and Dasna. The three Tomo Sharingan with scarlet left eyes stared at the thick fog, tentatively. He is not sure now whether the enemy is coming after him, or the mission entruster Dasna. Yes, sorry. I didn't release the money for the B-level mission, so I can only say I'm sorry. Dasna, who had a ghost in his heart, said frankly with cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. Under the thick white mist, a pair of cold and ruthless bloodthirsty eyes secretly watched several people. I thought, which Jonin was dispatched by Konoha. It turns out to be Hitaki Kakashi, the famous copy ninja. That being the case, larynx, spine, lungs, liver, carotid arteries, subclavian arteries, kidneys, heart. Tell me, from where do I want to attack you? As the last sentence of indifference fell, a terrifying murderous aura, mixed with chakra, pressed towards the three of them fiercely. Little Sakura, who only had the strength of genin, was instantly crushed by the terrifying murderous aura like a mountain of corpses in a sea of blood. Her legs trembled and she almost fell down. Dasna, an ordinary person, was even more unbearable. He was so frightened that he fell to the ground, looking at the thick fog with trembling limbs. Is this a ninja fight? Secret technique Qiansha Shuixiang. Under the thick fog, a clear and cold voice resounded. Under the cover of the dense fog, densely packed Mizusenben quickly formed, shooting towards Naruto and Seiko from all directions in an instant. Water-style water barrier. Naruto, who had seen Shiro's movements a long time ago, quickly completed water-style ninjutsu 1 second before these thousands of attacks, protecting them in front of them. The all-round defense of the water barrier, and the waters in all directions, could not break through this water barrier at all. Naruto, you know water-style ninjutsu, your eyes. Seiko glanced at the surrounding water barrier in surprise, and was shocked by Naruto's snow-white eyes just halfway through the unexpected words. Hyuga White Eyes, who is also a pupil art blood follower, Uchiha Seiko is no stranger. Seiko, Kakashi has a Sharingan, so it's not too much for me to have supercilious eyes. These are routine operations, don't be surprised. Naruto laughed and teased, reached out and took out a few shurikens, and threw them at the Ghost Brothers who rushed over. Seiko. Ninja Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. At the same time as throwing the shuriken, Naruto quickly completed the seal with both hands, staring at the thick fog with flawless white eyes, raised the corners of his mouth and shouted. I saw a few shurikens covered under the thick fog, instantly forming hundreds of shurikens, turning into streaks of blue light, piercing past like lasers. This is an application of Chidori Blade. On those shurikens, Naruto has attached the thunder attribute chakra. What? Wow. The dense shuriken like a rain of arrows instantly made the Ghost Brothers who were clamoring just now get the lunchbox. Mystery Magic Mirror Ice Crystal. Bai, who was observing in secret, heard Brother Gui's miserable howl before he died, his expression changed, and he went all out without holding back his hands. The fog around Ming Zuo quickly condensed, and ice crystals appeared in all directions and above their heads. In an instant, an ice crystal chamber appeared in front of Zuo Ming. Before, they secretly investigated, the 7th class is just an ordinary genin combination. That's why the battle plan of dividing and encircling and annihilating this time was formulated. Their mission is to quickly deal with the two of Ming Zuo, and then go to the bridge to support them again. Unexpectedly, these two Konoha genins are not simple. Shiro didn't know that it was only Naruto who attacked. Magic Mirror Ice Crystal. Too bad I didn't intend to fight you, Kurama. Naruto glanced at the igloo sighingly, let out a low drink, and his momentum changed drastically. The scarlet chakra wrapped around Naruto in an instant, and the evil and terrifying breath pressed down in all directions like the deep sea. 2 fluttering chakra tails suddenly appeared behind Naruto. The ground was also cracked by this chakra, cracking quickly. What kind of monster is this boy? Bai, who was hiding under the ice crystals, subconsciously blocked his body with one hand, and shouted in horror. Suddenly, 2 chakra tails are like red lightning, extending tens of meters in the blink of an eye. Oops. Bayan thought something was wrong, and was about to move quickly, when a tail appeared in front of her with a bang, and instantly entangled her. The ice crystals in all directions were also crushed instantly by another tail. Since you are so willing to make a tool, from now on, you will be my tool. Naruto came to Shiro's side as if teleported, stretched out his hand to take off her mask, and said with a wicked smile. What? Impossible, I will only be a tool of Mr. Zabuzon. Bai's pupils shrank for a while, and a trace of anger appeared on his face, glaring at Naruto and refusing. It's up to you. Naruto snorted coldly. The white eye of the right eye quickly switched to Shisui's eye, and distinguished heavenly gods activated. This Mangekyo's distinguished heavenly gods is short-lived and has an advantage, that is, the cooling time is short. After Naruto has fused Hashirama cells, the time interval is even shorter. That's right, Bai is a girl. This is clearly seen under Naruto's white eyes. In Bai's case, except for coercive means, ordinary methods are difficult to overcome. That's the only way Naruto can do it. Bridge side. Little Sakura, there is only one enemy, you protect Mr. Dazna. The matter of the mission will be discussed after the battle. Don't worry, I'll end the fight soon. Kakashi looked at the little Sakura who was frightened by the murderous aura, pulled out the white fang short sword behind him, and said lightly to the little Sakura. The current Kakashi, the Jonin class enemy, is simply ignored. Crazy guy, you're just a copy ninja with Sharingan. I'm Mist Shinobi's demon Zabuza, not just any guy. Seeing Kakashi with a relaxed face in the dark, Zabuzon was instantly furious and shouted angrily. So it's the ghost of Mist Shinobi. It is indeed not a simple role, unfortunately. You met me. When Kakashi heard the name, he still said in such an understatement tone. Hateful. Buzon's sharp little eyes snapped sharply, he grabbed the beheading sword, and was ready to rush out to attack and kill. You are here, what the hell? Suddenly, Zabuzon heard a familiar disdain, making Zabuzon subconsciously look forward. Kakashi in front of him has long since disappeared. But before Wuzon made a move, a dazzling white light flashed, and he felt his neck lighten, and his consciousness gradually became confused. The moment he closed his eyes, he saw a head of white hair and a short sword with a shining white on. At this moment, Zabuzon thought of a legend he heard when he was a child. Konoha's white fang. The uncut pupil shrank suddenly, and then felt a trance, and the consciousness dissipated in an instant. Night, Dazner's house. You guys don't know how handsome Mr. Kakashi is today. That guy called a ghost, just exuding murderous aura, made me unable to move. But, Kakashi-sensei killed him with just one swipe. According to Mr. Kakashi, the other party is still a Jonin. It's really amazing. Little Sakura sat in the living room, happily telling Naruto and Seiko about Kakashi's highlight moments. After experiencing this battle, the little Sakura's respect for Kakashi's sword, and he was almost worshipped. That's Jonin. It's not a cat or a dog. Okay. Naruto, are you two okay? Kakashi saw that little Sakura had finished bragging, so he turned to Naruto and asked. Fine, the three little guys have already solved it. Naruto said perfunctory casually. Seiko frowned slightly when he heard this, but didn't say anything. Seiko only knew that Shiro was let go by Naruto. Unclearly, Shiro has fallen under Naruto's illusion. It's fine. Mr. Darzner, now we can talk about this mission. Kakashi restrained his emotions, looked at Dazna seriously, and asked in a cold voice. This time, if the 7th squad hadn't caught up with this task, few people in the ordinary Konoha Shinobi squad could resist the attack. Don't look at him for instant killing and then not cutting, but that is elite Jonin, one of the 7 ninja swords after all. Kakashi now has the power of a shadow. This. I really don't have that much money, so I have to post higher tasks. Really, thank you so much for saving my life today. Seeing that the topic was brought to his head, Dazna immediately began to play badly, preparing to play a rogue and get away with it. This time, the enemy dispatched ninjas of the Jonin level. This is a dangerous mission. Mr. Dazoner, you now have 2 options. First, find a way to make up for the difference in remuneration, and the mission continues. Second, we go back now, and you are responsible for your own safety. Kakashi stared at Dazna, and gave an ultimatum without hesitation. What is the difference between you people and Kato? We are victims, our wretched country. When Dazna saw this, he began to cry about the kidnapping of poor morality, and told about the grievances between Kato and the Kingdom of Waves. Little Sakura, Seiko, go back and rest. This is for teacher Kakashi. Naruto has no love for these things at all, and simply calls the 2 back to the room. But, Naruto, Mr. Dazoner, they are so pitiful. Hearing half of the little Sakura, the heart of the virgin immediately overflowed, and she was ready to compromise. Little Sakura, if it's not Kakashi-sensei this time, you really will die. Think about the consequences of this for yourself. Naruto responded politely and left with a cold face. He still has his own business, so he won't waste time on it. Although Seiko is now a daughter, she is still very rational in her heart. Her experience is similar to that of little Sakura. Without Naruto's help, she would probably die today. This is also one of the reasons why she helped hide Naruto's release of Shiro. Naruto, Seiko. Seeing the two of them leave, little Sakura murmured, recalling the embarrassment that she was so scared that she trembled before. Gritting his teeth, he walked upstairs. Little Sakura is not stupid, she was just touched by the story just now. Naruto returned to the room and plunged into the sealed space. What happened today changed Bai's fate trajectory and gained 5,000 crash points. The fate of not being cut again has not changed, and there is no feedback of any breakdown point. Now, it's time to give Seiko a little sweetness. Seiko room Zuozi quickly took off today's shameful clothes, threw all the women's clothes aside, and took out his previous men's clothes with short sleeves. HMPH, what kind of goddess system is bullshit? You can't even compare to Naruto, what's the use of you? It's still so comfortable. Seiko collapsed on the tatami without any image, and sighed in a low voice unhappily. Drip, it is detected that the host has completed a phased breakthrough, rewarding a primary wish. Suddenly, a familiar voice suddenly rang in Zuozi's ear. Seiko, who was still casual, woke up immediately. Appeared. Goddess system, you have finally appeared again. Wish reward? Can anything be achieved? Zuozi let out a low growl in excitement, and asked anxiously with his reddened face and eyes expectantly. Drip, low-level wishes, wishes that are too outrageous will not come true. There is only one chance, please tell the host your wish. Zuozi rolled his eyes when he heard this rule, and quickly analyzed it in his heart. If there is no limit, Seiko will definitely say, let her become the strongest ninja. But this primary desire of only one chance made Seiko waver. You are not worth being killed by me, my stupid brother. If you want to kill me, you just hate me, and then just live on. When you come to me with the same eyes as mine, that is the meaning of your existence. In Sako's mind, the man's words suddenly flashed, and the scarlet Sharingan instantly appeared, and she knew what her wish was. My wish is to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. Seiko strengthened his determination and said tremblingly. This is the supreme power of the Uchiha clan. I don't know if this so-called elementary wish can be realized. It was only 2 or 3 seconds of silence, but Zuozi still felt that the seconds felt like years, and his mood was ups and downs. As you wish, finally, a voice like holy light enveloped Sako's ears. At the same time, Zuozi could only feel the double-hook jade in his pupils, turning rapidly involuntarily. Where Seiko couldn't see it, the third Guyu quickly appeared, and then changed again. After a burst of invisible rapid rotation, the Mangekyo pattern of the 6-pointed star appeared in Sako's eyes. It really worked. Mangekyo Sharingan, I finally have it too. Feeling this clearer and more powerful insight, Zuozi hurriedly grabbed a mirror and looked into his eyes, sobbing excitedly. Next room Naruto took back the telepathic communicator and closed his eyes, smiled with satisfaction, and looked longingly at the old man on crutches beside him. This is a wish-like prop, a god in trouble. As long as you help him, he will grant you 3 wishes. Naruto, who had been prepared for a long time, helped him easily. It is only because of the oppression of the world that the wishes are limited. Well, Chengui 10,000 crash points. Old immortal, my next wish is to turn my eyes into eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto expressed his wish excitedly, since Seiko can raise Mangekyo with both hooks, it is not too much for him to have eternal eyes. That's right, Seiko is not only his help object, but also an experiment object. Naruto will not spend money specifically to cheat on Seiko, he will give Seiko a benefit by the way when he cheats on himself. Well, this requires 2 wishes. The god in distress looked at Naruto with glowing eyes, stroked his beard, and spoke slowly. Depend on, sure enough, one shouldn't have expected it, how powerful the restricted wish-like props are. I am also preparing for my next wish, wood style with the power of Hashirama. Naruto cursed inwardly, but nodded in confirmation. Eternal Eye is not as simple as not being blind, pupil power and pupil technique as well as Susanoo will be strengthened. Just being blind, Naruto is not afraid at all. Uchiha Madara's cheating doesn't count. In the next moment, a golden light shone from the body of the god in distress, and his figure disappeared. And Naruto's eyes, Mangekyo, automatically emerged and rotated quickly, forming a different Mangekyo pattern in an instant. This time, for the eyes, the patterns of the 2 eyes are combined, and the Kamui eye is used as the base map. The triangular inverted sickle is extended again to the 4-cornered inverted sickle windmill pattern, and the center point is enlarged again. A large amount of pupil power quickly appeared in Naruto's eyes, and the power of Kamui and distinguished heavenly gods doubled. Susanoo, Naruto also comprehends the second stage automatically. This feeling is so cool. It's just that spending money is a bit wasteful, so I don't dare to spend it indiscriminately later. The remaining 27,330 crash points are the startup funds for the subsequent collapse of the plot. Naruto calculated in a low voice, lay on the bed and returned to the sealed space to chat with Doraemon and Kurama. This is a daily entertainment item when Naruto is fine, and it can also bring the two cheaters closer. At this time, in Cardo's stronghold, a large number of ice crystals filled this room, and countless warrior corpses were frozen or pierced. The instigator, Cardo, stared blankly at the person in front of him, unable to believe that the ninja he hired with money would kill him instead. Bai, who has been influenced by the distinguished heavenly gods, ignored Kaduo's miserable howls and continued to torture Kaduo's wealth. The task Naruto gave her was to collect Kado's wealth and store it secretly as a wife book. Naruto doesn't care about money, and he won't refuse any wealth that can be delivered to your door. Store it first, because there will be many daughters-in-law to support in the future. Big fat sheep Tsunade, but one of Naruto's favorite women, how can he do without some money? Next day with Kakashi's friendly negotiation, the mission continues. Dishonor promised to raise a sum of money to pay the difference when the bridge was built. If it cannot be raised, it will be repaid slowly with materials and other things, plus interest. Konoha, who has a big family and a big business, is naturally not afraid of Dazner's refusal. Naruto, I want to train with you. After breakfast, Naruto and Seiko were about to go out, and little Sakura also ran out and shouted. Last night, after little Sakura returned to her room, she also thought a lot. Now seeing Ming Zuo and her strength far surpassing hers, and insisting on special training every day, I can't sit still. Okay. Let's come together then. Naruto agreed casually without hesitation. He is not a special trainer, he is a special trainer. Little Sakura came over, just to correct my cranky thinking. Who told Seiko, today's clothes are more fashionable than yesterday? Mangekyo Sharingan, did you let her have a dick? Little Sakura nodded in response with her eyes bent like crescent moons, flicking her long pink hair, and quickly followed. What a great start. You, too, are like us. Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura. Kakashi stood at the door, looking at the backs of the three leaving, narrowing his eyes in relief and thinking to himself. Immediately, a firm look appeared in his eyes. Going back this time, it's time to make a decision, Lin. For the next half-month, there were no more enemy attacks. The construction speed of the bridge has also been accelerated, and it will basically take shape soon. The unlucky Kado was thrown into the sea and fed to the sharks after he got all the cash and wealth in vain. Finally, the time came to the day when the bridge was officially completed. Mr. Dishonor, then we're going back to the village. Thank you very much for this reward. Satisfied, Kakashi accepted the money note that Dazna handed over, and nodded with a smile. This is what it should be. This bridge gave us courage and made everyone believe that we will have a bright future. This is how I get together the mission rewards, thank you all this time. Dazna smiled sarcastically, pretending to be generous and indifferent. There was a burst of blood in my heart. If I had known that Kado would not come over, I should have let Kakashi and the others go back directly. Well, then congratulations on regaining hope. Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura, let's go. Kakashi took back the banknotes and put them in his bag. He casually gave a word of encouragement, turned around and hummed softly to the three of them, and walked forward with the beheading knife. This time, Kakashi was not touched by the story of Zabuza, so he naturally took back his spoils. Naruto, can you use your projectile to fly back? I really want to experience the feeling of flying again. After a few steps out of the bridge, the little Sakura said coquettishly with the expectation of a little star in her eyes. Seiko and Kakashi also paused, looking over eagerly. Naruto. Konoha, I'm going to report to Master Hokage. You three, disband now. Kakashi stood at the gate with a beheading knife on his back, dismissed the three of them in a lazy tone, and quickly left. Little Sakura, I want to buy some clothes and cosmetics, please introduce me. After Kakashi left, Sako's face was troubled for less than a second, and when he came to the little Sakura, he whispered in embarrassment. Seiko, who has tasted the sweetness, is now ready to make persistent efforts and break through himself again. Little Sakura, who was thinking of inviting Naruto to dinner, suddenly looked weird when she heard Sako's invitation, and looked at Sako's dress speechlessly. To be honest, Zuazi's clothes are much better than hers now. Especially the short skirt, little Sakura looked a little shy, let alone wearing it. Do you want to compete with her for the title of Class 7 in Class Flower? Seiko, little Sakura, I have to leave first. See you tomorrow. Naruto doesn't know the private conversation between the two, he still has to find Danzo now. It's almost time for the last distinguished heavenly gods. Okay then, Seiko. But I have to go home first and unpack my luggage. Little Sakura sees that Naruto has left, so she puts down the idea of eating, and reluctantly agrees to Sako's request. No way, who made the relationship between the two of them improve a lot. Among them, there is the case of the great aunt who died in shame in the country of Nisako. Well, little Sakura was an intimate young lady at that time, and taught Seiko a lot of precautions for girls. Afternoon, bang bang bang. Naruto, come out quickly. Teacher Kakashi treats you. Naruto was studying the wood-style scroll in his hand at home, when he was awakened by the cry of little Sakura outside the door. The wood-style scroll was taken by Naruto after he cast the illusion on Danzo. Ms. Kakashi's treat? What's the situation? Naruto put away the scroll and walked out the door, wondering while opening the door. But in the next second, Naruto's eyes were attracted by the outfit of Sakura's second daughter. Sako's upper body was a plump white t-shirt, paired with a blue skirt and black stockings. Little Sakura also changed into a pink t-shirt and short skirt, and her hair was tied into double ponytails. If so, Naruto shouldn't be surprised, but their faces were all covered in makeup. That's right, it's makeup. This operation immediately made Naruto a little overwhelmed. How about taking little Sakura away first to cool down? Naruto, let's go. Don't keep Kakashi-sensei waiting. Seeing that Naruto looked at her with fiery eyes, the little Sakura was secretly delighted, and grabbed Naruto's arm and left. Well, this small body is still a bit short. Still have to find Big Tsunade or Yuhihong. Little Sakura's actions made Naruto quickly dispel that idea. His mind was as clear as ice. Really, Naruto has no love for tablets. Surrounded by two beautiful girls, Sakura and Seiko, Naruto came to Kakashi's door with envious eyes all the way. A treat at home? This is too picky. Naruto pointed to the door of Kakashi's house, stared at little Sakura and Seiko with wide eyes and said in surprise. Ms. Kakashi said this is a family banquet, let's go in. Seiko explained arrogantly, stepped forward and began to knock on the door. Since Kakashi taught Seiko ninja, Seiko respected Kakashi a lot. You are Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura, come in. After a while, the door opened, and Nohara Lin, who was dressed in black home clothes, poked her head out and invited happily. Little Sakura and Seiko looked at each other, a little overwhelmed by the situation. How could a woman appear in Mr. Kakashi's house? If*K. If*K. Nohara Lin, why'd I have a bad feeling? Naruto, who already knew about Rin Nohara's existence, couldn't help but thump in his heart when he combined this unexpected treat, and secretly complained. The three people with different thoughts followed Nohara Lin into the room with embarrassment. After entering, the three people saw that Kakashi was busy cooking in the kitchen. In this scene, not to mention the little Sakura and Seiko, even Naruto almost dropped his jaw. Kakashi is actually a warm man at home? Ahem. Well, my cooking skills are actually not bad. It's just that Kakashi's cooking skills are a little bit better than mine. Seeing Sanshao's surprised eyes, Yi Yuanlin coughed lightly to hide her embarrassment. In the past, when the three of them had dinner together, Kakashi, who was the best cook, cooked. At the beginning, did Teacher Minato and Mrs. Kushina feel the same way? Damn Kakashi, why didn't I say it earlier? I wasn't ready. Nohara Lin laughed dryly, and went out to clean the fruit to entertain a few people. Hey, Seiko, Naruto. You say. That woman, could it be Mr. Kakashi's? Little Sakura saw Nohara Lin running out to wash the fruit, and immediately came up to her, staring at Nohara Lin with bright eyes, and whispered 8 trigrams. Probably. But I'm more curious about Mr. Kakashi's true face. Can I see it when I have dinner? Seiko was also infected by the atmosphere of the 8 trigrams, squinting his eyes at Kakashi in the kitchen, and lowered his voice. Ah, if you don't say this, I can't remember it. It seems that we have never seen the real face of Mr. Kakashi. Today is really the right time. Little Sakura's eyes lit up again, staring at Kakashi with fiery eyes, and looking at Nohara Rin again. 8 trigrams' little heart was beating. Ahem. Calm down. Don't make the atmosphere more embarrassing. Naruto silently looked at the two with fiery eyes, and reminded in a low voice. Kakashi, Rin Nohara, what are you doing? Sorry to keep you waiting. Nohara Lin and Kakashi walked over with 2 plates, and Kakashi whispered a little shyly. This performance made Naruto's third child stare at Kakashi with your abnormal eyes. The two put down their things and quickly returned to the kitchen. Soon, a table of delicious food was neatly placed in front of several people. Naruto, Seiko, little Sakura. It's the first time you have dinner at my house, so don't be so restrained. Don't be shy, let's go. Kakashi knelt and sat opposite Sanshao, and greeted him warmly. Nohara Lin was sitting next to him. Ms. Kakashi. You haven't introduced me yet, who is this big sister? Little Sakura still couldn't hold back the 8 trigrams in her heart, and stared at Kakashi and Nohara Rin with big eyes. Ahem, This is my girlfriend, Rin Nohara. Kakashi was going to announce the news, but he didn't hide it, scratching his head a little bit shyly. What, girlfriend? Although Naruto was a little prepared in his heart, he was still stunned by Kakashi's operation, and said in surprise. Kakashi, you are trying to die. If Obito knew, the goddess in his heart would live with you in Konoha. Seeing another little Kakashi, I can't rub you into ashes. This is so strong, so exciting. Naruto stared at Kakashi meaningfully, with ups and downs in his heart. Don't be so surprised. To be honest, I just knew the news a little earlier than you. I wasn't as surprised as you were at the time. Sensei Minato's child, there won't be any problem. Nohara Lin blushed slightly on her face, looked at Naruto with an awkward smile and thought to herself. Kakashi did not directly agree to Lin's confession last time. Then today, after Kakashi reported the task, he approached Shanglin and said that he agreed to date. Nohara Lin is also a bit confused with happiness now. Love is like a tornado, it comes too fast, too illusory. Naruto, pay attention to the impact. Teacher Kakashi, Mrs. Lin, I wish you happiness. Satisfied with the little Sakura of 8 trigrams, she gave Naruto a little push and smiled to send her blessing. Me too, I wish you happiness. Seiko also congratulated Kakashi, but his eyes were fixed on Kakashi's face, looking forward to the next scene. No, nothing. I'm just a little surprised that Kakashi-sensei can have a girlfriend. So what, you are not too young now. I wish the two of you get married soon and give birth to your son soon. I am looking forward to the appearance of little Kakashi. Naruto also took advantage of the opportunity to congratulate, and his words were full of joy. Kakashi and Rin Nohara, who are in their 20s, were a little embarrassed by Naruto's bold speech. But what do you mean by that? Can't I have a girlfriend? Kakashi stared at Naruto speechlessly, almost burst into tears. Ahem. Eat, eat. Kakashi hurriedly picked up the chopsticks, greeted several people to eat, and eased the embarrassment. This time, if Naruto hadn't told him in the Land of Waves that changing history in the future would not affect the present, Kakashi really couldn't make up his mind. Kakashi was worried before that if Obito's fate was changed, the situation of the three made him a little embarrassed. This time, I had a lot of worries, so I didn't agree to Lin's confession. Little Sakura. According to Kakashi, your chakra control talent is good. If you want, you can follow me to learn medical ninjutsu. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Nohara Lin thought of the situation when Kakashi introduced her 3 disciples before, so she took the initiative to speak. Medical ninjutsu? Okay, I do. Thank you, master. Little Sakura looked up at Rin Nohara in surprise, and shouted excitedly. The strength of Naruto and Seiko has already made little Sakura feel like he is holding back. But if she learns medical ninjutsu, then she will have a chance to perform. Well, this one is good too. I'm having a headache, where is little Sakura going? Lin, little Sakura is in your care. Kakashi, who was about to eat saori, put down his chopsticks and looked at Nohara Lin, thanking him warmly. Ha ha, Kakashi, I think of our past when I see them. I will help little Sakura grow up. Seiko, if you are interested, you can also. Nohara Lin looked at the corners of several people's mouths with a smile, and turned to invite Seiko. Oh thank you ma'am, I don't want it anymore. Seiko, who was paying close attention to Kakashi's real face, raised his head absent-mindedly and laughed awkwardly, shaking his head and refusing. Just kidding, she's an Avenger in pursuit of power. How is it possible to be a medical ninja? Looks like it's pretty good. In the original book, Sanshou has never been so warm. Naruto, who was watching secretly, raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and continued to grill the rice. Well, Kakashi's cooking skills are really good. Time passed quickly, and it was evening. Naruto's 3 primary schools also went home after eating and drinking enough. Lin, take the liberty today. Naruto and Seiko are now children without family care. I have been thinking about how to guide them. But as a man, there are some things that are inconvenient for me to do. Especially Naruto, he looks like a carefree child, but I can feel that he is a little alienated from the world. Because of that incident, Sako's situation is similar. Lin, I will ask you to take more care of me in the future. After watching the 3 leave, Kakashi turned around and asked Nohara Rin seriously. Kakashi, I get it. Just like Teacher Minato and Mrs. Kushina. I'll try my best. Only then did Rin Nohara understand Kakashi's painstaking efforts, and solemnly said with a firm face. At this moment, both Kakashi and Lin felt a kind of inheritance. Perhaps, this is the so-called will of fire, like Mrs. Minato and Mrs. Kushina. Kakashi repeated subconsciously, looking at Rin Nohara with strange eyes in his eyes. Nohara Lin reacted belatedly after seeing her like this. His face turned red. A few days later over the peaceful Konoha village, a black shadow flew slowly, circling around the village, and let out a cry of eagles. That is, the Jonin summoning order. Kakashi looked at the ninja hawk hovering in the sky with one hand on his waist, his heart skipped a beat. Okay, that's all for today's mission. I'm going to submit the task now. You can disband and move freely. Kakashi pressed his thoughts, lowered his head and announced to the three Naruto beside him, and the figure disappeared instantly with a bang. Ms. Kakashi, you left so soon today. I also want to ask my teacher some questions, but I don't know if she is at home. The little Sakura sighed in disappointment, and said with a melancholy look. In the past few days, little Sakura has followed Nohara Lin and started to learn some basic medical knowledge. I'm going home to learn illusion, let's go first. Seiko, who had activated Mangekyo Sharingan, was now very enthusiastic about illusion, and left quickly after leaving a word. Naruto, now it's just the two of us. How about we go have dinner together and promote team spirit? The lost little Sakura instantly revived with full blood, and stepped forward to invite Naruto with anticipation. Ha ha ha, Seiko is gone now, I can't miss such a good opportunity. You can do it, Sakura-sama. Little Sakura frantically added drama to herself in her heart, looking at Naruto shyly. The fastest way for a person to get out of a broken relationship is to transfer this emotional sustenance. Little Sakura is like this now, she transferred her love for Sasuke to Naruto seamlessly. Who turned Sasuke into Sasuke, who made her feel only lost and unwilling, but without emotional hurt. Okay, but I have to treat you. Naruto naturally readily agreed to this, and it seems that little Sakura's dog-licking attributes have been stimulated. Little Sakura. As expected of the elder brother that I, Konohamaru, respect. Woman, if you want to become my sister-in-law, you still need to work hard. Just when the little Sakura was speechless, a childish voice suddenly sounded behind the two of them. You brat. What are you talking about, Konohamaru? Little Sakura and Naruto turned their heads almost at the same time, opened their mouths wide and shouted at the person coming. Oops, could it be too fierce? This kid seems to be Naruto's younger brother. The little Sakura regretted the words as soon as she uttered them, secretly looking at Naruto and thinking to herself. Konohamaru, before Naruto crossed, had already been conquered by the predecessor's seduction technique and became Naruto's hardcore younger brother. HMPH, for the sake of your pursuit of my elder brother, I forgive you for your rudeness. Brother, today I will show you the results of my cultivation. This is your ninjutsu to defeat Hokage. Konohamaru made mudras with his hands, glanced at little Sakura with disdain, and yelled at Naruto very confidently. In Konohamaru's heart, except for Naruto, everyone else is taken as his grandson of Hokage, and he dare not touch him in the slightest. Damn brat, lady, I'm going to stay a lady. Could it be? No. Little Sakura and Naruto widened their eyes at the same time, shouting in their hearts with different thoughts. Seduction technique. Seeing the shocked expressions of the two, Konohamaru shouted confidently. In the next second, a burst of white smoke drifted past. A plump, protruding woman appeared in front of the two of them. But, what happened to that abstract head that resembled little Sakura? Smelly brat, I can't take it anymore. The little Sakura next to Naruto finally couldn't help but explode. With a roar, he smashed a punch, breaking Konohamaru's transformation technique in an instant. Damn, hate. The little Sakura was not polite at all, and it was a brutal repair when she went up. No. I was wrong, as expected, the eldest brother's woman dared to hit me. I approve of you, sister-in-law. Konohamaru, who was in the storm, howled intermittently. The little Sakura, who was hitting, blushed and froze in place when she heard the name sister-in-law. Brother, sister-in-law is so fierce. Konohamaru took advantage of the situation and quickly slipped behind Naruto, looking at the little Sakura with a bruised nose and muttering. Ah ha ha, it's all a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Little Sakura looked at Naruto with a blushing face, and smiled shyly and embarrassedly after seeing that he did not refute. Little devil, well done. Konohamaru is it? Just for your approval, from now on, sister-in-law, I will cover you. Little Sakura, the second personality hidden under the shy appearance, shouted excitedly. Brother, how about my seduction technique? They are all according to your instructions, Yu Shang's big fart and Yu Shuchao's. Is it possible to defeat my grandpa? Konohamaru grabbed Naruto's skirt, his eyes burning with desire. Naruto. Little Sakura, it turns out that Naruto likes such a woman. The other side Hokage office Kakashi, Might Guy, Asuma, Kuroyuki, Anko, and other well-known ninjas are all present. Before the official start of the Chunin selection exam, Those who are responsible for leading Genin and who are interested in taking the Chunin exam can start recommending them. Kakashi, it starts with you. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Kakashi without showing any signs, looked at everyone and said in a deep voice. Then, the 7th squad led by Kakashi, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Seiko, Haruno Sakura. The above 3, in the name of me, Hitaki Kakashi, recommend them to participate in this Chunin exam. After Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice fell, Kakashi stepped forward and recommended solemnly. Squad 8 led by Red, Hyuga Hinata, Inazuka Kiba, Aburame Shino. The above 3, in my name, Yuhi Hong, recommend them to take this Chunin exam. Kurenai Yuhi immediately stepped forward, looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with firm eyes, and said seriously. Squad 10 led by Asuma, Yamanaka Ino, Narashikamaru, Akamichi Choji. The above 3, in my name, Sarutobi Asuma, recommend them to participate in this Chunin exam. Asuma did not fall behind and said solemnly. Immediately, 12 freshmen took the Chunin exam, making many people look at each other. Kakashi class, they naturally have no opinion. The last 4 tales Naruto directly set off a wave of introversion practice in Konoha. But class 8 and class 10, aren't they a bit sloppy? And who is that Seiko Uchiha? Isn't Uchiha's orphan named Uchiha Sasuke? At the scene, except for Sarutobi Hiruzen, Yuhi Hong, and Might Guy, no one knew that Sasuke was Sasuke. Konoha Street, Konohamaru, that jutsu is no match for Hokage. Next time, I will teach you a very powerful ninjutsu. Naruto helplessly looked at the excited Konohamaru, and sighed while holding his forehead. The younger brother Konohamaru, whether it is now or in the future, can be regarded as a good younger brother. Ninja talent is also the degree of genius. Well, it is regarded as the guidance teacher of the children in the future. Very powerful ninjutsu? Brother Naruto, is there any more powerful ninjutsu than seduction technique? Konohamaru looked at Naruto in bewilderment, and said doubtfully with question marks in his eyes. Naruto. Sin, inseparable from the fear of seduction? Ha ha ha, brother Naruto, then I won't delay your date with sister-in-law. Mungwang, Udon, let's go. Seeing Naruto's embarrassed expression, Konohamaru laughed loudly, and called the 2 friends who were watching the fun to slip away quickly. They were playing ninja games here just now. Naruto, your little brother is so cute. I quite like him. Little Sakura agrees with Konohamaru's assist very much, and pretending to be shy, she stepped forward to find nothing to say. The subtext is, I recognize the identity of the sister-in-law, and it's up to you, Naruto. Oh, woman. This is stuck. But I won't let you succeed so easily, it's not delaying my finding another woman. With your dog-licking attributes, it's not too much to lick Shippuden first. Let's go, I'm hungry. Naruto glanced at the little Sakura with deep meaning in his eyes, slandered in his heart, turned around and greeted him coolly. Little Sakura did not receive accurate information from Naruto, her face collapsed, and she followed Naruto silently. Ah, it hurts. Just let me go. The 2 had just turned a street when they heard Konohamaru's screams. Naruto took a closer look, and saw that Konohamaru was held up by Kankuro of Sand Shinobi, just like in the original drama. His little brother was being bullied, how could Naruto endure this tone? Naruto's figure turned into an afterimage and appeared next to Kankuro in an instant. Be careful. Temari, beside Kankuro, suddenly shrank his calm pupils, and hurriedly gave his brother a loud warning. But Naruto's movements are faster than her voice. Kankuro felt a huge force hit his waist in an instant, and at the same time his arm hurt, his right hand subconsciously let go, and his figure quickly flew sideways. So fast, well, a nice handsome guy too. Temari hastily took out his fan weapon to make a defensive move, blushing a little on his face, and looked at the handsome blonde guy in front of him with fear. Brother Naruto, you are amazing. Konohamaru, who was rescued, looked at Naruto with adoration and shouted. Still coming out. The guy who pretends to be a ghost. Naruto ignored the admiration of his fanboy Konohamaru, looked at Temari appreciatively, turned his head to look at the big tree aside and said coldly. There is one thing to say, the current Temari is still quite heroic. Then everything is there. Konoha's ninja really makes me more and more excited. An indifferent and strange voice sounded from behind the tree, and one-tailed Jinchuriki Gaara came out slowly. Excited and bloodthirsty eyes stared at Naruto. A smile appeared on the corner of Naruto's mouth, and the figure disappeared instantly, and appeared next to Gaara again. Give me a message to Shukaku, just say that Kurama wants to chat with it. If you think it over, you can come to me anytime. Naruto patted Gaara's shoulder with one hand, and sighed softly in his ear. Naruto didn't lie. Kurama really wanted to talk to Shuzuru after seeing the bond between Shuzuru and Gaara in the future. The pupils of Gaara's panda eyes shrank suddenly, and she turned her head to stare at her shoulder in horror. His sand didn't respond. The other party actually knew that he was one-tail Jinchuriki. Who was that Kurama? This scene changed the expressions of Temari and Kankuro, who got up. That boy could actually touch Gaara's body. Temari's heart is pounding. The fear of being dominated by Gaara for many years has already exhausted her sister physically and mentally. Would it be easier if there was such a man who could suppress his younger brother? Oops, it's a feeling of heartbeat. No, we are here to subvert Konoha. Thinking of their purpose this time, Temari's face changed, his face was cloudy. Let's go, little Sakura. After shocking Gaara, Naruto turned his head and shouted to little Sakura, and continued walking forward. So handsome. This Naruto seems to be more handsome than the previous Sasuke. How could I have lost thoughts just now? Naruto, I won't give up. The little Sakura stared at Naruto's back with bright eyes, strengthened her confidence, raised a happy smile, and quickly chased after him. Hey, I'm Gaara of Sanagakure. You are very powerful, report your name. Gaara's eyes sharpened, staring at Naruto's back and asking. Gaara. I'm Konoha Genin Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto turned his back to Gaara and continued forward, a lazy voice sounded slowly. Uzumaki Naruto. Really, a nice man. Well, it's just a little short. Temari stared at Naruto's back, and murmured in a low voice. Shameful trash, get the hell out of here. After watching Naruto's back disappear, Gaara's eyes suddenly changed, sharp cold-blooded eyes stared directly at Kankuro, and shouted with murderous intent. Immediately, his figure turned into wind and sand, fleeting. These two monsters. Kankuro supported his waist in pain, looked in horror at the place where the two disappeared, and staggered away slowly. The next day, the three of Naruto received an application from Kakashi and were recommended to take the Chunin selection exam. For this opportunity, the three of course chose to participate with full confidence. Little Sakura is now very confident in the strength of the two teammates, and is ready to lie down and win, so she doesn't refute anything. 5 days later, it's here, a lot of people. The three excitedly came to Ninja Room 301. Little Sakura looked at the dense crowd and exclaimed softly while covering her little mouth. Miss Seiko, you are here. As soon as little Sakura finished speaking, a green figure suddenly flashed in front of the three of them, staring at Seiko enthusiastically. Seeing the person coming, Sako's face darkened instantly. The person who came was Xiao Li from Guy's class. Ever since he turned back to Konoha last time, Xiao Li has been chasing after her. Sister Seiko, you have also taken the Chunin exam. Well, also. Your strength is also very powerful. What's more, there is that terrifying guy. Tien, dressed in a white cheongsam and wearing double balls, walked quickly to Zuo Zi, hugged her arms and smiled. Eyes, looked at Naruto unconsciously, this existence made her feel horrible. Sister Tianshan, don't be like this. Zuo Zi broke free from Tianshan's arm restraint with a helpless expression, and said awkwardly. There was even a trace of blush on his face. In Sako's mind, she was still a boy. She couldn't grasp the experience of such a close girl. Naruto, we meet again. Neji walked out slowly from behind the two, came to Naruto and trembled excitedly. Well, long time no see. Naruto nodded slightly, patted Neji on the shoulder as a casual greeting. It's not a good place to talk here. Little Sakura, where is Sasuke, Sasuke-kun? Where did my Sasuke-kun go? The two had just finished greeting each other. Ino ran out from nowhere, looked around after looking left and right, and came to little Sakura and said anxiously. Sasuke? Ino, I don't like Sasuke anymore. Since it's your Sasuke, go find it yourself. The little Sakura subconsciously glanced at Seiko. The corners of her mouth raised secretly, her eyes stared at Ino playfully, and she replied bluntly. No, I don't like it anymore. Ino froze with an angry expression, stared at little Sakura in disbelief, and said with wide eyes. How is it possible? Ino's liking for Sasuke is more about enjoying the feeling of vying for a little Sakura's favorite object. She doesn't really like Sasuke very much, ahem. That, Ino. She is Sasuke, now called Uchiha Zuozi. Another familiar voice sounded, and Inuzuka's 8th class came over. Tooth. What do you mean? That girl is Sasuke. Ino's complexion changed instantly with a cry of shock and anger, his eyes turned to Seiko, and he began to scrutinize him carefully. This well-dressed girl who is wilder than herself is Sasuke. Ino suddenly felt his 3 views collapsed, and there were 10,000-tailed beasts rushing past his heart. That's right, Ino. I used to be a man in disguise. Sako's face now has already cultivated to the level of Kakashi, and he admitted without blushing or panting. Yeah. In an instant, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji from Class 10 opened their eyes wide and exclaimed at the same time. Yukushi Kabuto, who was observing in the dark, frowned when he heard the news. In the information he collected, there was really no such thing. Forget it. It's just a gender difference. Presumably Lord Orochimaru won't care about this. But that guy, you still have to be careful. Yukushi Kabuto looked at Naruto through the gap, thought for a while, but still didn't go forward to increase his favorability. The terror of Four Tails Naruto, Yukushi Kabuto has gathered this information. You bastards, give me peace. After a period of commotion, a puff of white smoke and a rough voice burst out from the podium. The Konoha examination team made its debut. After a long-winded explanation, everyone took their seats, and the first exam officially began. Naruto-kun, please do your best. Hinata next to Naruto, after struggling for a long time with her hands wrapped around, blushed softly and shyly encouraged. Hinata, you are so cute. Looking at the very kawaii Hinata, Naruto still couldn't hold back his mouth. Hinata, who was already shy, heard Naruto's praise, her delicate body trembled, and the blush on her face instantly extended to the base of her neck. There was a trace of white mist in his head, and he almost fainted. It's over, it's over. How can Naruto do this kind of exam questions? The little Sakura looked at the content on the test paper, stared at Naruto's back worriedly, and shouted annoyed in her heart. I see, I will not do any of these topics. Is the real content of the exam to collect intelligence? With little Sakura's level, these questions are not difficult for her. That guy Naruto, with those white eyes, is fine. Then, Sharingan open. After Zuozi saw these topics, she quickly analyzed them, and smiled confidently on her pretty face, and 3 Tomo Sharingan instantly appeared in her eyes. At the same time as Zuozi acted, everyone present also started to act. Neji's white eyes, Ino's heart-turning, Shino's bug, Atonen's voice, Konkuro's crow, Gaara's sand eyes. In short, it is the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their magical powers. These operations, seeing Naruto as relish. If he knew these things in his previous life, he would become a god-like existence in no time. Naruto, let's do this. I'll show you my exam paper. Just as Naruto swaggered and looked around, Hinata's voice like a mosquito rang in his ears. No need, I don't want to disqualify you from the competition either. Don't worry, I won't be defeated here. Looking at the shy girl, Naruto smiled confidently at Hinata and declined. Hinata's little wife, it's still very good. It's a pity that I, who knew the plot, played so badly that I won. Naruto thought of this proudly, and continued to turn his head to watch the excitement. As long as he doesn't write the answer, no one can say he cheated. Naruto. Hinata looked at Naruto's blank test paper and murmured, worried. Next, is the 10th most critical question. Morino Ibiki stood on the stage, staring sharply at everyone present as in the plot, and spoke out his own rules. The choice to test or not to test. The many genins below were all shocked on the spot, weighing the pros and cons with foresight. This time, Naruto didn't raise his hand and shout the slogan like in the original. He only has more than 20,000 crash points now, and if he has less money, he must spend it wisely. Naruto. Since you didn't choose to give up, then I'll do it too. Looking at Naruto's back, little Sakura thought firmly after struggling for a moment. Under heavy pressure, many genin began to retreat, and under the chain reaction, most of the remaining genin were panicked. Nobody quit anymore. After waiting for a few minutes, Morinoi Hibiki looked around and confirmed again when no one raised his hand. The rest of the genin, except for a few people, all sat upright with tense expressions, gritted their teeth and persisted. Then, the first exam for Chunin selection. You all passed the level. Morino Ibiki once again put on an expression of being embarrassed, and after grunting, he announced loudly. This scene surprised everyone. What? Passed? How? What about the 10th question? Aren't the first 9 questions in vain? After everyone was pleasantly surprised, several people questioned. Morinoi Hibiki gave a sinister smile, untied his kerchief, and started his ninja teaching time. Hinata. Thank you just now. After the exam, I will treat you to dinner. Naruto didn't listen to a word of Morino Ibiki's words, turned his head and began to tease Hinata's daughter-in-law. Have a meal? Me, Hinata, who was listening to the class seriously, blushed again, grabbed the hem of her clothes and stuttered, unable to speak. In her little head, there are scenes of Naruto asking her out on a date. Then, Naruto looked at Hinata who was blushing and fainted on the table, and was speechless for a while. Will such a daughter-in-law want to experience the solo happiness of picking up corpses in the future? Games without cooperation will lose a lot of gaming experience. Whoosh whoosh. Boom. Suddenly, two kunai passed through the glass and stuck a piece of black cloth on the wall. A voluptuous figure then appeared in front of the stunned candidates with black lines all over their heads. I tell you, now is not the time to be happy. I am the second examiner, Mitarashi Anko. The next exam is about to start, everyone come with me. Anko, dressed in a long fishnet dress and short skirt, announced loudly with high spirits. Tisk tisk tisk. Anko is really a sexy beauty not inferior to Yuhi Hong now. This figure is so tough. I don't know, how did she become a big fat man? Naruto stared at the explosive fishnet outfit with bright eyes, and silently made a note in his little notebook. Pending. Soon, Anko said with embarrassment the address of tomorrow's competition, and ran away again. Naruto and the others can go back. Little Sakura, Seiko, you guys go back first. I'm sending off Hinata. Naruto picked up the dazed Hinata with ease, and said to the two who came over. Naruto, I'll walk with you. Seeing this, Neji stepped forward and said proactively. Miss Seiko, can I invite you to have youth training together? Xiao Li took advantage of the opportunity and came to Zuo Zi, shouting with fiery eyes. Roll. Zuo Zi twitched his brows twice, and flung out a word coldly, making Xiao Li squat on the ground and start drawing circles in an instant. You can do whatever you want, I'll go first. Seeing such a happy scene, Naruto chuckled to himself, walked out of the classroom with Hinata in his arms. Naruto, remember to have dinner at Mr. Kakashi's house at night. The teacher's wife said that we should celebrate the passing of the exam. The little Sakura hurriedly chased after her, reminding her in a gentle voice. Damn it. Why is Naruto hugging Hinata? Could it be that Naruto likes her? Impossible, he obviously only liked me before. Well, I'm going to be generous. Can't let Naruto know I'm a jealous girl. Understood. Naruto kept walking, and quickly left with Neji. After many genins left, Yibixi slowly collected the test papers. Coming to Naruto's test paper and looking at the blank test paper, Yibixi was slightly taken aback. Did you see through the real purpose of the exam from the very beginning? He's really a scary guy. Yibixi picked up the test paper and thought of Naruto's calm performance, and sighed in surprise. Next day, here is the second examination room for the Chunin examination. Training ground number 44. Alias, Dead Forest. Anko was still dressed as a hot girl yesterday, and introduced loudly while standing in front of the forest of death. Just at this moment, a gust of wind blew by, causing her windbreaker to sway slowly, making her figure even more uneven. At this tense moment, a cuboid box quickly appeared in front of Naruto like a worm. Konohamaru, what are you doing again? Didn't I say, don't do these boring things anymore? Naruto stared at the cuboid speechlessly, and sighed with black lines all over his head. As expected of the big brother I recognize, he can recognize me like this. I'm not doing something boring. We're here to do interviews for the school year publication. Konohamaru jumped out of the box with Moawang and Udon and shouted. His words also aroused the reactions of those around him. Ah ha ha. I almost forgot Hokage-sama's explanation. Everyone take a break for a few minutes and accept their interview. Anko also heard Konohamaru's words, belatedly scratched his head and laughed dryly. Everyone. Is that the Uchiha Seiko that Tokuro was talking about? Dress up as a man? Is it that man's arrangement? Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Orochimaru, disguised as Kusakashi Genin, stared at Seiko greedily, like an idiot uncle. Don't stare at me with your disgusting eyes. Otherwise, I will kill you. Seiko, whose strength has skyrocketed, turned his head to meet Orochimaru's eyes keenly, and opened the Scarlet Three-Tomo Sharingan, shouting with murderous intent. Have you already got the three-hook jade? As expected of a genius, Uchiha is no less talented than Itachi. I look forward to you even more, Seiko Uchiha. Orochimaru pretended to look away, and the desire for Seiko in his heart was once again high. Boom. Lang. With the opening of the blocked iron gates, the entrance of the Death Forest was also exposed to many candidates. Now, the second exam for Chunin's selection officially begins. Following Anko's order, almost all the candidates rushed into the Iron Gate as if there were dogs chasing after them. Only here in Naruto, the painting style changes suddenly. Well, here we go. Let's go, Naruto greeted lazily when he saw the door opened, and walked slowly into the door. Gouda. Naruto, aren't you nervous? The atmosphere here is scary. Little Sakura's pupils trembled slightly, she looked fearfully at the dark interior of the forest, stepped forward and grabbed Naruto's arm, swallowed and said in a trembling voice. It's just a dead forest, I'm familiar with it. Don't be afraid, I will protect you. Naruto put his arms around little Sakura's shoulders, eating tofu in a fair and square way to comfort her. Naruto, what are we going to do now? Whether to snatch other people's scrolls, or wait for them to deliver them to their door. Seiko took out the scroll of heaven on his body, walked to Naruto in 2 steps and asked. Inadvertently, Seiko turned slightly to one side, separating the two of them. To be honest, this action was really Sako's subconscious behavior. Naruto, why don't we just fly over there? The environment here is so dark. Little Sakura suddenly thought of Naruto's bamboo dragonfly, her eyes lit up, and she exclaimed in surprise. No. We haven't got the Earth Scroll yet, so it's useless to fly there. Besides, our group is the strongest genin team. I am already beyond the existence of Naruto. How can you be timid before fighting? Seiko directly denied little Sakura's proposal, and looked at Naruto arrogantly and said. Awakening Mangekyo Sharingan, Seiko, who has been promoted by Hashirama cells, now thinks that his strength is not lost to Naruto. In particular, she saw Mangekyo Sharingan's restraint of tailed beasts in the family records. This feeling is even more soaring like a rocket. The current Seiko and the little Sakura know that Naruto's state is borrowing the power of the tailed beast. It really is sunny and the rain has stopped, and Urzuzi feels fine again. With Sako's temperament, he is still so self-confident. Naruto looked at Sako's arrogant appearance with a smile, and suddenly thought of this famous joke. Let's walk all the way, and when we meet the enemy, we will kill them immediately, and we will get the scroll of earth by the way. Naruto shrugged indifferently. Anyway, Orochimaru, the courier, delivered it to his door. Naruto is looking forward to this ninja scientist. Seiko and little Sakura naturally had no objection to this, they both nodded in agreement. The 3 bold people from Yigao walked towards the tower without any cover. Those 3 brats appeared in front of our eyes so blatantly. If we don't kill them, it would be a pity to have this opportunity. On the big tree where the 3 of Naruto walked, 3 figures suddenly appeared, and one of them said in a low voice with cold eyes. These 3, with 4 vertical lines engraved on the forehead protector and gas masks in their mouths, are none other than Rain Shinobi's genin. Such an inexperienced brat is often the first to die. I hope that in their hands is the scroll of earth that we want. Another Rain Shinobi stretched out his hand and took out kunai. He also showed his bloodthirsty eyes, licked his lips and pursed his lips. Yes. Unfortunately, you are my prey. Just when the 3 of them were about to make a move, a cold female voice resounded behind them. When? Impossible. This is. The movements of the 3 froze at the same time, subconsciously exclaimed, and turned to check. They saw a pair of Scarlet 3 Tomo Sharingan appearing in front of their eyes. The 3 of them only felt a trance attack, and then lost consciousness. Waste. Even simple hypnosis is irresistible. Zuozi snorted arrogantly and became more confident in his own strength. It's not an earth scroll, wasting my time. After searching out the back of the opponent's scroll, Seiko casually kicked it into the ninja bag, and eliminated the 3 of them cleanly. Then chakra exploded under his feet, and his figure instantly appeared beside Naruto and little Sakura who were walking in front. And the Seiko who was walking together turned into white smoke and disappeared on the spot with a bang. That is, Sako's shadow clone. This is what Naruto taught her by the way when he was instructing Seiko to practice Chidori. Solve it. Seiko, what kind of scroll is the other party? The moment Seiko came back, little Sakura turned her head to look at her in surprise and asked expectantly. Well, like us. It is the scroll of heaven, and we have to continue to search for the target. Zuozi pursed his lips in displeasure, and was about to continue to say something, when the Scarlet 3 Go Jade suddenly turned extremely fast. Earth-style earth flow wall. In front of Seiko, Naruto's pupils also changed suddenly, and he quickly completed the seal with both hands, slapped the ground and shouted loudly. In front of Naruto, an earthen wall carved with a dog's head rose up in an instant. So what? Kakashi's Tulubi, there is no soul without a dog's head. The second after the earth wall appeared, the terrifying wind style, comparable to a Category 8 typhoon, suddenly spewed from the front. The strong wind pressure cut off all the big trees beside the 3 of them. Even the earth flow wall in front of them felt crumbling. Seeing this, Naruto hurriedly increased chakra to stabilize the earth wall, and then he managed to hold on. What a terrifying wind style ninjutsu. After wind style's attack dissipated, Naruto withdrew the earth flow wall. Looking at the long trench created by wind style, little Sakura exclaimed with wide-eyed eyes. That person is that disgusting guy from before. Unexpectedly, his strength is so strong. Zuozi was also slightly surprised, staring at the figure walking out slowly, said unexpectedly. This person has the qualifications to make her go all out. You're quite capable, Konoha's brat. The visitor was wearing a white robe, a bamboo hat, and a purple belt around his waist. He stared at Seiko eagerly, and said with a strange smile. It's Orochimaru disguised as a Tonin, hum hum. What you need is the Book of Earth. Here I happen to have one. Then, risk each other's lives. The scroll battle has begun. Orochimaru took out an earth scroll, swallowed it mysteriously, then covered his face with a grotesque laugh. The eyes between the fingers became sharp instantly. The overwhelming killing intent rushed towards the three of them through that eye. The three of them felt a wave of horror like a mountain of corpses in a sea of blood, coming to their hearts through their respective eyes. If it's only this level, then you're a little bit worse. Naruto stepped forward, protecting little Sakura behind him. The 9 tails on his body erupted, breaking through Orochimaru's killing intent in an instant, and sneered. Orochimaru's murderous spirit is like a younger brother to 9 tails evil. The power of 9 tails? Do is right, a perfect Jinchuriki indeed. However, my target is not you. Orochimaru felt the evil and tyrannical chakra, his pupils shrank, and he secretly regretted it. Humph, as I said just now, you look at me with that disgusting look again. I will kill you. Now, it happened to snatch the scroll together. Seiko said indifferently with disgust. The 3-pointed jade in his eyes spun quickly. His scarlet eyes looked directly at Orochimaru, raised his hand and threw a few shurikens over. Fire-style great fireball technique. The moment Seiko threw the shuriken, he quickly completed the seal with both hands, and opened his mouth to spit out a super great fireball. Seeing this, Naruto didn't rush to intervene, picked up the little Sakura and left the place in an instant. He. It's not a good choice to use fire-style in front of wind-style ninjas. Wind-style great breakthrough. Orochimaru retreated tens of meters unhurriedly, and after a seemingly instructive lecture, he made a mudra with his hands and shouted in a low voice. In an instant, the hurricane just like before spewed out from Orochimaru's mouth again. Sako's great fireball was instantly blown back by the gust of wind. Moreover, the wind borrows the power of the fire, and the fire assists the wind. The condensed great fireball was blown away by the hurricane in an instant, and evolved into a monstrous sea of flames, rushing towards Seiko. Hateful. Forget about this guy's wind style. No solution anymore. If you can't avoid it, you can only rush out quickly. Open the door. Seeing that he couldn't escape the encirclement of the flames, Zuazi's eyes sharpened. He hid behind a giant tree, and shouted in a low voice. The 8 inner gates hidden in Sako's body broke through the first gate in an instant. This was not over yet. Zuozi quickly formed a seal with both hands, and made a move with one hand. A burst of cries of thousands of birds rang out. Lightning-style Chidori, rapidly prototyping in his hands. Drink. Seiko shouted coquettishly, holding Chidori in his right hand. Sharingan caught the target, opened the door to speed up. The figure turned into an afterimage, and rushed towards Orochimaru quickly. Orochimaru, who was standing across the sea of flames, sensed something was wrong when the Chidori sounded. However, he is confident that he can dodge Chidori's attack, so he doesn't pay too much attention to it. On the contrary, because of Chidori's appearance, he appreciates the container he likes even more. At this moment, Seiko quickly appeared in front of Orochimaru dragging afterimages. So fast, Orochimaru saw a black shadow approaching in both eyes, and only had time to block it with his arms before being blasted away by Sako's Chidori with a huge impact force. Orochimaru, who was hit, pulled out a tens of meters long trench and fell to the ground, dead or alive. Solved. Seiko paused slightly out of breath, and after closing and opening the door, the scarlet Sharingan stared at Orochimaru firmly. Seiko was sure that she had hit him just now. No one can survive that kind of injury. Seiko, you learned the first gate of 8 inner gates so quickly. Progress is really flying fast. Naruto stood on a big tree farther away, opened his eyes to observe the battle, and thought to himself. Naruto's eyes. Why are there blank eyes? Little Sakura stood beside Naruto, looking at those ferocious white eyes, feeling inexplicably horrified. Naturally, Naruto had a full view of her expression. But Naruto doesn't care about these. He copied these abilities, not to hide them, but to actually apply them. Otherwise, what is he doing? Naruto is not worried about leaks. Do you really think his 9 tails chakra mode and Doraemon are decorations? Gia. Seiko Uchiha, you are amazing. Your body is enough for me to reincarnate. I really found a treasure. Orochimaru, who was in the state of a dead body, suddenly turned his head, staring at Seiko as if he had gone crazy, and laughed wildly. Then, under Zuazi's frightened gaze, he opened his mouth, and a hand stretched out from it. Then, the two hands, and then the whole body. In a few seconds, a brand new Orochimaru appeared in front of Seiko. This time, it's not a Tonin in disguise, but Orochimaru's true colors. You. What monster are you? Seiko stared at Orochimaru, who was pale and black-haired and snake-eyed, and asked nervously. A monster? Maybe it is. Now, the game is over. I accept your body. Orochimaru's copper-yellow snake pupils reflected undisguised greed, licking his lips and saying crazily. At the same time as the last word fell, Orochimaru's neck stretched rapidly like a snake's body, and his snake-like head rushed towards Seiko. Under Zuazi's gaze, the ferocious snake teeth shone with a cold light. Have you given up? Also good. After planting a curse mark on her, after that incident, she can be reincarnated. Sharingan. I'm finally going to have you. After Orochimaru saw that Seiko was frozen in place without any resistance, such a thought flashed into his mind instantly. Just when Orochimaru's thought flashed, Seiko looked at the head of Orochimaru, who was rushing over, with a sneer on the corner of his mouth. Whatever monster you are, just destroy your head and you cease to exist. Seiko was sure. The Scarlet 3 Tomo Sharingan turned quickly. In an instant, the three black jades in the pupils joined together, and the Mangekyo pattern of the six-pointed star was reflected. Nani? Wan, Mangekyo Sharingan. Rushing in front of Seiko, the head of Orochimaru, who was close at hand, suddenly froze in place, and shouted in disbelief.